Fang Ping, in the class of Yang City First High School, just accepted a shocking reality, which was himself going back to the past 10 years ago. To be precise, he is now in a parallel world that is 10 years behind his previous world. Because there's one thing that was different from his past world, and that was this world is ruled by martial prowess instead of money. Fang Ping's friends were chatting about registering for the martial arts subject, and Fang Ping found out that they needed $10,000 just to apply, and if they didn't pass the exam, all that money would be gone. But one of his friends, Yang Jian, said that he would register either way since it was the only way to have a good career. The group then discussed how a grandmaster managed to break through to grade 8 and challenged another man called Tai Mu. They were surprised since the grandmaster was only in his 20s but was already a grade 8 martial artist. Fan Ping then asked his friend if they knew any good internet cafes in the area. After getting the location from Chen Feng, he went there and paid the receptionist girl for the computer. After browsing through the internet, he found more information about this world and realized that if he wanted to have a good life, then he would need to take the martial art exam, even if it cost him a lot. This world has some unspoken rules, as the power level of martial artists decides almost everything in this world, and the martial artists are ranked from the lowest grade 1 to the highest grade 9. Even if someone wanted to open a business, they would need to be a martial artist. The same goes for the entertainment industry. And millions of youths would participate in the National College Entrance Examination from their respective high schools. And if they can score really well, they can be admitted into the highly ranked colleges in the nation. And he only had 2 days left to register for the exam. So he was hoping that his family was rich in this world so that they could pay for the test. But when he went back home, he was given a reality check, as his home was nothing like a rich guy's home. His room felt familiar to him, and when he was about to untie his shoes, a girl came in and asked for money that he owed her. Fang Pin was a bit emotional as he remembered this round face, so he went over and rubbed her face round and round. The girl was her sister, Fang Yuan, who in the future would lose the round, cute face that she has now. But to her question, he could only sigh as he had already spent the money. Fang Yuan thus went to mom and complained about the money. But their mother, Li Yuyin, didn't listen to her tantrum and said that her dad's gonna arrive soon. Soon after, his dad Fang Ming came back from labor work. If everything was similar to the past world, then his dad must be working in the factory with a monthly allowance of only $3,000. Again, Fang Yuan complained to her dad, so Fang Ping escaped. Later, they were having dinner, and during that, Fang Ping suddenly said that he wanted to take the National Martial Art exam, which surprised his family members. And after a while of silence, his dad gave him a debit card and said that there were $10,000 in the card, which he had prepared beforehand, as he was also thinking of letting Fang Ping take the exam. Do you want to know the name of this manga, along with all the manga names of the recaps we did in our channel? How about also the chapter numbers our recaps end? You can simply ask the names in our Discord community for free or become a donor to get them all in one place. You can either be a donor in Patreon or be a member in our YouTube channel. Just scan this QR code or go to the link in the description to become a donor. Moreover, becoming a donor automatically makes you a VIP member of our Discord server with over tens of thousands of members. Fang Ping was surprised and took it with heavy responsibility. The next day, when he withdrew money from the card, an interface appeared in front of his face and was connecting itself to his brain through Neuralink. He then saw a stat window. Fang Pin, who read a lot of novels in their previous life, knew that it must be a system-like ability. He went back home and pondered his newfound ability. He discovered that the amount of wealth that was shown in the status window was proportionate to the money he owned. And if the money didn't belong to him, then it wouldn't show in the interface. He figured out the money stat in his window, but he didn't know much about the chi stat and the spirit stats. He tried many methods, starting from praying to the system to commanding it to increase the stats, but nothing happened. And when he screamed at the top of his lungs with his full attention, he noticed that his wealth became 0, but fortunately, his chi stat increased by 0.1, and he immediately felt that his chi in the blood increased, which made him feel blessed and very comfortable. Then he remembered the money stat that decreased to 0, so he immediately went over and found out that the cash he had withdrawn was still there. He was very happy since he found out that using the wealth stats of the system wouldn't make money in real life disappear. The next day, the teacher told everyone that wanted to register to go to the registration office. When Fang Ping went over to the registration room, One of the girls asked how much was Fang Ping's chi for him to confidently register. But Yang Jing helped Fang Ping out of embarrassment and said that Fang Ping didn't check it yet. But one of the males said that he had a chi score of 108, but since Fan Ping was very skinny, that meant he had less score than him. Fan Ping was struck dumb as he heard the massive number of 108, where his system only calculated his chi as 1.1. One of his rich classmates then offered him to check his chi score at his house. And Yang Jing was shocked as the rich guy had a chi meter to check chi scores. Fan Ping himself was surprised as he understood that even the smallest chi meters cost hundreds of thousands. After school, Fan Ping followed Wu Zihao and went to his mansion. Then he was taken to Ji Hao's room where he was told to lay down on a fat chair. Then several glowing bracelets were placed on his wrists and neck, and when Zihao started the meter, a shocking number appeared on the screen. Fan Ping himself was surprised and found out that the ratio of chi stat is 1 to 100. Zihao was shocked as Fan Ping never practiced martial arts, nor did his family have the money to buy nourishment to increase the chi amount. When Fan Ping went back home and told his parents that he had 113 scores in chi, they felt guilty to not be able to support Fan Ping's talent. Thus, when his parents were at home, they were discussing buying some nourishment pills for Fang Ping with their lifetime savings. Fang Wen, Fang Ping's sister, didn't believe Fan Ping since one could take the martial exam if they had 110 chi. But how could her useless brother have 113 scores in chi? But Fan Ping said he was a genius and rubbed her round face even harder. His mom then appeared and told him not to bully Fang Yuan and to come with her. In his parents' room, his father Fang Ming handed him the cash savings they had and told him to buy nourishment to increase his chi score even more. As soon as Fang Ming touched the cash, the system notified him of extra $20,000. Fang Ping was really touched by his parents' sacrifice and went back to his room. But he didn't plan to buy any medicine at all, and just increased his spirit stat, which cost him $10,000. The feeling during the increment of the spirit stat was so good it felt like he was experiencing true freedom as he ran naked amok. After the increase in the spirit stat, he felt that his concentration, comprehension, and memorization abilities had increased significantly. So he was awake the whole night as he memorized the physics book whole. Thus he was feeling drowsy on his way to class. On his way to class, he met his class teacher who gave him and some other students basic martial arts theory books. He told him to study diligently, as most of the people had already studied the books through private tutors. Fan Ping was grateful, so he thanked the bald teacher. After a while, Fang Ping noticed a commotion as a senior called Wang Jing visited the students. But Fang Ping didn't know the guy. So a crazy fangirl explained everything about Wang Jing, including where he eats and shits, and how he didn't give up on his training despite being the #1 freshman of Nanjing University. The students congratulated Wang Jin, and many asked about the secret of becoming a martial artist. So Wang Jing said that the chi score doesn't mean that they could pass and admit into the universities. They need battle experience and the ability to remain calm in difficult situations to do a good score in the national entrance exam. He also told them that relying on medicines and nourishment to increase chi was not good in the long term. He also reminded the students to be prepared for a life of killing if they want to face the true martial world. When Fang Ping was back home, he was thinking of how casually Senior Wang talked about killing people and guessed that Senior Wang surely killed people before. Meanwhile, Senior Wang picked up his phone and someone told him that the suspect ran away to Kangshan. So Senior Wang told him that they needed to catch the suspect and offered $100,000 as the reward. Meanwhile, Fang Ping, who was in his room, increased his chi by 0.1 again, and his money became 0 again. But this time Fang Ping felt extreme pain in his whole body and went unconscious. When he woke up, he examined his body and felt that his body was slowly recovering to a normal state. He then remembered that he would need to bring Senior Wang back to school. So he rushed out of his apartment and collided with a strange guy who was apparently the new tenant living upstairs. He then vaguely saw a small kitchen knife dropping on the floor, but he didn't think much and apologized. Back in the bus, the students invited Wang Jin with respect, as he was only in the first year of college but was already a martial artist. When Senior Wang was going to his seat, he touched Fang Ping's shoulder and said that it was not good to increase one's chi in such a short time through medicines. He also added that one needs to do physical exercise too, along with increasing chi to make a solid foundation for future improvements. Fang Ping was surprised that the senior sensed his chi score but nonetheless thanked him for the advice. Later that night, he practiced exercising till he was sweating wet. So he went back to his room and heard news that said that a grade 2 martial artist had been killed by his partner after a robbery, and the murderer was suspected to be in Yang City of Kangshan. The news reporter also advised everyone to be at home before the case was resolved. Fang Yuan then told Fang Ping that she shouldn't go to school at this time, since if anything happened to her, then her fans would be devastated. But Fang Ping rebuked her, saying she was just full of flesh and nothing was attractive about her at all. Fang Ping then looked at the TV where they showed the knife stabbing scene. He felt that the knife was a bit familiar, but he was unable to pinpoint where he saw the knife exactly. Then when he went to bed, he remembered that the knife was exactly the same knife that the new tenants had dropped. He was in a dilemma as the guy was not only a killer, but also a grade 2 martial artist. He was worried that the tenant would implicate his family living downstairs. So he needed to act fast, and thus he made a plan and went upstairs. He knocked on the door and went in and told the man that he wanted to watch the football tournament, but their own TV was broken, but assured him, saying that he had brought some snacks and drinks to share. When Fang Ping was attentive to the TV, the guy was slurping on the drinks and thinking about how he could get Fang Ping to leave. Fang Ping also noticed that the guy wasn't happy with his presence, so he took this chance and told him that he would clean up his room as thanks. But when he wanted to go to the bedroom to clean, the guy said that he could take care of his own bedroom. And then, the box where the guy kept the weapons and the blood-soaked clothes dropped during cleaning. So the guy rushed and kicked Fang Ping as he was thrown upwards. Then the guy picked up the knife and held it by his throat. So, Fang Ping said that he wouldn't leak anything, but the guy didn't believe him and was about to kill him. And just at that time, the poisoning took effect as the guy was paralyzed. Fang Ping took advantage of the moment and slammed the guy with a stick. But the guy was still a grade 2 martial artist, so he was still able to hurt him severely. But even a grade 2 martial artist succumbed to the poison in the drinks. Thus he tied up the robber and calculated the loot, and found hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bag. But the system's wealth didn't increase, meaning that he still hadn't owned the cash. Then the guy woke up from his coma again and screamed like a bitch. But Fang Ping just insulted him, saying a wanted criminal like him only bringing 200,000 and a few bottles of pills is so disappointing. But how would Fang Ping know the value of those pills, as the pills could make the guy break through into the 3rd grade of martial artists? The guy then proposed a deal saying Fang Ping could keep the money and the pills. He also mentioned the value of the other pill bottles, like boner strengthening pills, and grade 2 nourishing pills, and said that altogether, it would sell for more than 5 million. He also said that it's not enough for martial artists to strengthen their chi and muscles. They still need to strengthen the boners to support the strong muscles. So it would be best if he took these pills for the upcoming national entrance exam. And he also warned him, saying it wouldn't be over if he killed him, as the detectives would figure out his location sooner or later. And if they find him dead, then surely they would suspect everyone in the building, and his family might be implicated. He was also told that if he called the police, then all the money and the pills would be confiscated, and it wouldn't benefit him at all. Fang Ping was at that time in need of money. As to become a martial artist, he needed an extreme amount of money. However, Fang Ping didn't believe that the guy would let him go away if he untied him. So he picked up the stick and struck the guy again. After the guy was beaten black and blue, Fang Ping called his senior Wang and told him that he was lucky enough to hurt the wanted criminal. But Wang Jin couldn't believe it, as he knew how high the difference was between a grade 2 martial artist and a person who wasn't even a grade 1 martial artist. Nonetheless, he visited the building and was brought in by Fang Ping to the room where the criminal Huang Bing was kept. Fang Ping then told him to help him deal with this issue, and in exchange, he could take a share in the loot. Wang Jin agreed and said that he would take the grade 2 pills, and Fang Ping could take the grade 1 pill, and since he would take grade 2 pills, he would compensate Fang Ping with $1 million. Fang Ping accepted it nonetheless, and saw that his system's wealth stat changed to 2.4 million. But according to Wang Jing, these items should cost 3.5 million instead of 2.4 million, meaning that these items were judged by the system by the actual worth, not by the local market price, which fluctuates a lot. A few days later, he saw the message of an additional $1 million in his bank account. Then, all of a sudden, his system began to upgrade too. He then saw the new upgraded system where the chi and spirit stat became similar to real life, which was a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning his 1.2 stat in chi became 121 and his spirit stat of 1.1 became 110. This meant he should be able to upgrade 1 point of a stat by spending $1,000, and sure enough, when he tried it, he saw his chi stat that was previously 121 became 122. This steady increment was better for his body than the sudden increment of stats from the past. He then saw a message from Wang Jin asking him if he got the money, and also told him that he delivered a parcel to him. And just at this time, his sister got in his room and jumped on his back as she told him to take her to a restaurant to eat. So Fang Ping took his revenge by groping her cheeky. Fang Yuan then gave him a parcel saying someone named Wang Jin sent it. So Fang Ping took it, and when Fang Yuan found out that it was the same Wang Jin as the famous Nanjing of their area, she asked him to get an autograph of Wang Jin. She then told Fang Ping that he would never understand how charming Wang Jin is, as 3 girls out of 5 were fans of Wang Jin in Yang City. She also planned to sell a copy of the autograph in her school, which would make her rich overnight. She then told Fang Yuan that Fang could keep 30% of the profit if he could obtain an autograph. That way, they would earn until their piggy bank explodes. Fang Ping didn't listen to her and went outside as he didn't want to open the parcel in front of Fang Yuan. When he opened it, he saw many martial techniques. Fang Ping didn't expect Wang Jin to be so righteous, as he probably sent this technique as compensation for the big part of the share that he took from the loot of that robber. He knew from the internet that to become a martial artist, there are 2 requirements. One was 150 chi score, and the second was strong boners. Strong boners couldn't be obtained from only eating medicine, but also needed some special techniques. It was really a gift matching his needs. But his home didn't have a good environment to practice the techniques, so he needed a good residence first. Thus he went to some real estate companies and toured through a few apartments and duplexes. He then liked one of those shown duplexes, so he decided to buy one. Anyway, money was just extra for him, as the system didn't cut the money after increasing his stats. So he asked the guide if there were any discounts on the sale. The guide was excited and told him that they have free unlimited internet and a premium TV plan in the residence, and the overall discount was 5%, but the discount could be increased after he deposited 20% of the cost. As such, he completed his payment and went back home. On his way, he was pondering on how he would tell his parents about the money he had to be able to buy such a big house. So he planned to keep it a secret for now. Next, he planned to buy some furniture and equipment for the new home. In the TV showroom, he saw a commotion where the TV was broadcasting the battle between Grandmaster Ma and Tai. There it was shown that the forest that was originally filled with trees became barren due to the destruction caused by the Grandmasters. The fight was filled with big landslides and storms, and just at that time, a rock flew toward the broadcaster's camera, and the broadcast was cut off. Fang Ping was surprised, and understood what a humanoid nuclear weapon looked like. Then after a while, the broadcast was resumed, as the tattered body of the broadcaster was shown. This event gave Fang Ping a big goal that he planned to walk, and he swore that he would become just like them, or even stronger with his system. Fang Ping then bought and wrote down the delivery location of the furniture. So he was late, and didn't come to his home. Thus his sister was cursing him in front of Mom, saying Fang Ping must be eating delicious foods in the streets. But her mom said that Fang Ping is training outdoors for the national martial exam. But Fang Ping was at his new apartment and was training hard while Wang Jin was instructing him on the phone. Wang Jin said the structures of the human body consist of 206 bones, and also the flesh, meridians, and inner organs. And as a martial artist, one must make sure that different parts of the body are balanced with each other, and one can strengthen their boners by following different techniques. And when one would reach the limit of increasing bone density and chi density, they could try breaking through grade 1 of martial arts. But the more the chi score and the bone density is before breaking through the next level, the more solid and strong the foundation would be. Wang Jin then told him a secret technique to increase the limit of one's body by using the chi stored in the blood to strengthen the body, but it would decrease the amount of chi score. Not to mention the technique is not only dangerous, but also not normal, as it's extremely hard to increase one's chi score. And if Fang Ping wanted to try it, then he had a high chance of not being able to participate in the exam due to low chi scores. But Fang Ping didn't worry about his chi score, and instead sacrificed his chi to strengthen his body, and eventually succeeded without any side effects. And sure enough, his chi stats decreased. But he immediately increased his chi back using the wealth stats. He then found out that his body limit had increased massively after strengthening his body. Other cultivators needed hundreds of pills to replenish their lost chi, not to mention one can never take so many pills at once. But Fang Ping could replenish his chi as long as he had wealth, which can greatly boost his cultivation speed, not to mention his limit of body could also be increased. Soon the date of the exam neared, and the students fired up their training routine. When it was only 3 days left before the exam, the vice leader of Nanjing patrol team was depressed, as he said that for the past 10 years, nobody from Yang City was able to become a martial artist in their youth. He also said that the education board funding of the city would have been shut down if not for Wang Jin's good performance. He then reprimanded the person in charge of Yang City's education board, saying, if there are fewer than 100 students with more than 120 in chi score, then he might be fired. When there was only a day left before the exam, students were crying as the requirements for taking the national exam were more strict and needed to have at least 115 scores in chi. At that time, Fan Ping was called out by the vice director of the education bureau of their city. After taking Fang Ping out of the crowd, the vice director explained the situation of Yang City's low scores on national exams every year. He then told Fang Ping that Wang Jin recommended Fang Ping to show off his chi scores in front of his fellow students, so that his fellow students are filled with extreme emotion, which might help them increase their chi in the blood. And said if he is successful, he would be offered hundreds of thousands as a gift by the bureau. And as such, the stage was prepared, and a guy bumped into one of his classmates, but insulted the girl instead of apologizing. So Fang Ping unleashed his aura of high chi, which made the surrounding students grasp in fear. Even the deputy director was shocked, sensing the high chi amount, and said that it's almost close to a grade 1 martial artist. Fang Ping became the star of the rumor in the mouth of other cities' students. Later, the deputy director offered him a grade 1 chi pill, saying that if Fang Ping could reach the max limit of the body before becoming a martial artist, then it would help Yang City a lot. But Fang Ping refused it, saying it was too precious and might even hurt his body, as the grade 1 pills are only meant to be taken by a grade 1 martial artist. But the deputy director told him to not worry as Fang Ping's foundation was very strong. Seeing no choice, deputy director threatened him a bit, but Fang Ping mentioned that his senior Wang Jin would reprimand Fang Ping for taking the pill. The deputy was truly helpless at this time, and thus asked if Fang Ping wanted any compensation. So Fang Ping stated that he would need 2 grade 1 chai pills and also 2 million in cash to risk his life. Deputy had no choice but to accept it, and just like that, more cash was heading to Fang Ping. In the test bench of the exam hall, students were being tested for their blood and chi, and none of the students there had higher chi scores than 120, so the director was sweating bullets. Then the director remembered Fang Ping and watched him through the surveillance camera. Fang Ping also noticed the tiny surveillance camera, so he had no choice but to swallow the chi pill since it would be too suspicious to increase his chi suddenly without any pills. He swallowed it but kept it in his throat. When he swallowed the pill, he felt pure energy rushing in his blood, and power surged in his body. And the chi meter was increasing its score gradually, and it reached 149 under the sweaty gaze of the director. After the exam, it was time to reveal the result. Everyone was depressed as they needed 115 points in chi, and only a handful of people had 115 chi. And when Fang Ping's result was announced, everyone was shocked silly. After the result, many cried as if they had lost their dreams. This exam determined their fate in life. Fang Ping looked at them and knew that without the system, he would be just like them. Especially his classmate Zhang Nan, who wasn't famous in school as she didn't have strength or looks. So Fang Ping comforted her and said that she would definitely pass the next time and said that he would treat her to French fries, her favorite dish. She agreed and thanked Fang Ping. When on the way, the group encountered a guy that was preaching about the end of the world that would happen at the hand of martial artists. The guy also told them to join their organization to save humanity from martial artists. But the group didn't listen and went to take a detour. But the guy didn't listen and caught Zhang Nan's hand. So Fang Ping released his chi aura and the guy let go of her, and then the group went away. The group then attended physical exams and written tests, and finally, the exam for that day was over. Outside the school gate, There was the cult guy in a van who came prepared with a strong force to teach Fang Ping a lesson. The cult members then got out of the van and started beating the students abruptly. Then a girl came behind Fang Ping and attacked him. Fang Ping defended the blow and understood that she was a martial artist that trained their bodies, and also noticed the tattoo mark beneath her eye is the same as the cult guy. He was trying his hard to outmatch her, but she was a grade 1 martial artist. Every punch of hers was strong enough to break a few inches of bricks. This time it was much more dangerous than when fighting Huang Bing, as Huang Bing was poisoned at that time. And just as life was flashing before his eyes, he saw that the opponent's head was smashed by another martial artist. He almost threw up seeing her bloody head. He then found out that the martial artist was from the detective bureau, and also the fact that this type of attack wasn't the first time, as the cult hates martial artist students that don't join the cult with passion. The deputy director also came and was shocked when heard that a martial artist attacked Fang Ping. Fang Ping was cursing his luck as the only martial artist from the group had to attack him first. He was lucky this time, but might not be lucky next time. This time 20 students were injured, and 9 of them were severely injured, and thus might not be able to take the next exams. After the detective left, Fang Ping asked the deputy director if he could give him any combat techniques so that he could get stronger. But Mr. Tan told him that in this day and age, combat techniques are not useful since fighting is prohibited by the law in civilian areas. And most people only cultivate their qi to increase lifespan and health instead of caring about strength. Mr. Tan then told Fang Ping that he was going to see his parents as he needed to say something to them, so he told Fang Ping to follow him after cleaning up. Later, while in the car, Mr. Tan transferred the 2 million that he promised to Fang Ping. He then said that the reward was sent to him earlier than expected due to his outstanding performance in the exam. When they reached home, Fang's family gave him a surprised welcome and Mr. Tan was showered with flying paper cuts. The Fang family was dumbfounded seeing that it wasn't Fang Pin. Then Fang Pin came out and introduced Mr. Tan to the family was surprised to see that the deputy director of their education board came to their house. So they hurriedly invited him. And when talking, Mr. Tan asked if Fang Ping's father, Fang Ming, was interested in taking a guard job of 5,000 a month. The entire family was excited hearing it and urged Mr. Fang to take the job. So Fang Ming accepted the job offer, and after a while, Mr. Tan took his leave. Then Fang Ping told his family that the education department this time also gave them a duplex house, but also warned them that they shouldn't tell other people about the reward, as the reward was confidential. Later, he brought him to the new duplex house. The family was shocked silly while Fang Yuan was exploring the entire house. His dad couldn't believe that the department would give them such a big reward, but he didn't ask anything else in the heat of the moment. Fang Ping was at that moment watching the news and heard that an earthquake hit the western regions, and many were injured, and a few had died. But due to a grandmaster predicting the earthquake, many casualties were prevented. And then Fang Ping saw that the grandmaster and his team were rescuing people with their superhuman strength. He understood that even though there was not much use of combat techniques in this peaceful age, but the strong technique could still save lives. Just at that time, he got a call from Senior Wang, who asked him about the exam. So Fang Ping told him about the exam result and also asked if he should break through or not. But Wang Jin told him to strengthen his bone again with bone-strengthening liquid before he breaks through to the martial artist rank. He also told him that the limit of the Qi score of 150 is only for ordinary people. The true prodigies could reach a higher limit before they break through to the martial artist rank. Thus, Fang Ping should also try to reach a higher Qi score than 150 before becoming a martial artist. He then told him that the bone-strengthening liquid isn't something that Yang City have, so he would buy that for him from other cities, and in exchange, told Fang Ping to transfer 500,000 to him for the cost. After the call ended, Fang Ping cried, as it was too expensive to be a martial artist. Nonetheless, he trained hard and didn't slack off, and was able to increase his qi in the body slowly but steadily. 1 month later, when he was taking a bath in bone-strengthening liquid, he observed his improvement just like every day. His qi improved to 162, and the qi potential limit increased to 170. On the day of the result announcement, Fang family was curious and gathered in front of the computer to see Fang Ping's result. And finally, the family saw the result for which Yang City's Education Bureau gave Fang Ping such a big house. With such a good result, Fang Ping would also be able to enter the 2 major universities in the nation. A short while after, the Fang family members were showered with calls from their friends and colleagues as they congratulated Fang Ping on the phone. Fang Ping, who was enjoying the moment, suddenly saw a message from Wang Jing, who asked him for a meetup. So Feng Ping went there at the city stadium and saw that Wang Jing was with a little girl who, he found out, was Wang Jin's teacher's daughter, Nini. So he went ahead and wanted to handshake with her, but she hid behind Wang Jin. Wang Jin felt that his own round sister was still cuter. Wang Jin then told her to play by herself, so she went away. When she was away, Feng Ping asked if Wang Jin was a part-time nanny now. But Wang Jin didn't talk about it and punched him. Then he told him to spar. But how could Fang Ping spar with a rank 3 martial artist? Wang Jing then told him that he was surprised as he didn't expect Fang Ping to complete the bone strengthening twice in just 2 months after catching Wang Bin. He kept punching, and Fang Ping was trying as hard not to get hit, but was still caught and slammed. Then Wang Jin asked if Fang Ping could join Nanjing University. He also added that with his position at Nanjing University, he would be able to waive all of Fang Ping's resources until he reached rank 3. Wang Jing also told him that with Fang Ping's capability, he could also join the 2 major colleges. The 2 major universities also provide resources for free to talented students. And every student would be able to take on missions just like Huang Bin's warrant missions. And the 2 major universities are situated in 2 different cities, one in the capital city and the other in the Magic City. Among them, Magic City has most of mission opportunities than the other colleges. Not to mention that the staff quota of 2 major universities are filled with the high-ranking martial artist. In Nanjian University, anyone can teach if they reach rank 3, be an advisor at rank 4, become a school leader at rank 6, and the dean at rank 7. But the major universities are much stricter. But he also told Feng Ping that it depended on himself, in the end, of how far he could reach in his martial endeavor. He was in a dilemma, as on one hand, Nanjing could give him resources for free until rank 3, which would cost him tens of millions, whereas the major universities would suit him better for his future endeavor. Nonetheless, Feng Ping made his choice, and after a few days, he left for Magic City College with the acceptance letter. He bade goodbye to his family members, which made his round sister cry. When he arrived at the Magic City, he saw buildings that were so tall as though they were touching the clouds. The city was developed to the limit, and the amount of martial artists is much higher than it was in Yang City. When he got off the train, a security guard came to check his identity and check his chi score. And when he found out that his chi score was 199, he checked the database for the martial artist named Fang Ping. But he didn't find any, so he told Fang Ping that unregistered martial artists are not allowed to roam around the city freely. But Fang Ping said he wasn't a martial artist, which made the guard shocked. So Fang Ping explained that he was a freshman who just arrived at the Magic City to attend Magic City's martial art university. The guard was surprised as a freshman had such high vitality, so he told Fang Ping that he was earlier than expected and usually, the university makes the necessary arrangements for everyone before school starts. He then brought him to an office and made a temporary martial pass where his address and information were printed. When he came in front of the college gate, he saw a big-ass gate. When he was staring agape at the gate, a fly came and introduced himself as Qin Feng, a third-year student of the college. He then showed off some of his half-assed techniques, but Fang Ying was able to dodge them, so he got to know about Fang Ping's high chi score. So he told him that picking the Magic College was the best choice for a talented freshman like him. After Fang Ping entered the gates, he navigated through the map and came to cross the freshman reception hall, which looked dilapidated. When the receptionist saw him, she said that he was very early and took his acceptance letter. When she was checking the acceptance letter, she said that his coming here early had doubled her workload as she had to make arrangements just for him. But then, when she saw his chi score while not being even a martial artist from the database, her attitude changed completely, and she said in a polite tone that she would make all the arrangements. She also said that she could arrange advisors to assist him in breaking through to the rank of a martial artist. She said that Fang Ping was a top genius, and that the college always values and provides for its toppers. Then Fang Ping was introduced to the manager of the rest house, Li Chenze, who came rushing upon hearing that a genius had arrived. The manager then took his luggage and went outside. There, Fang Ping saw a luxury sedan waiting outside. And finally, he was brought to the rest house and saw the luxurious building that had a private gym. Then he was shown the interior of each apartment that had an open kitchen, king-size bed, and a spacious lounge. and was told that all these were free of charge, along with the food. The manager also told him that his room was more special than others due to his potential. After Manager Lee left, Fang Ping looked around more and came to the canteen and had dinner. When eating, he was pondering about strengthening his bones thrice and knew that he needed more wealth than what he had now. So he was thinking if he should start a company. Then he heard a commotion where a pig-like guy was bullying the waitress. Then Manager Lee came and asked about the problem, then found out that a strand of hair was in the food, and when Manager Lee picked up the hair, he saw that it was very long. So he said that the hair wasn't from their own staff, as all the staffs are forced to grow their hair up to the shoulder. But the guy wasn't listening at all. So Mr. Lee said that he would send the strand of the hair to the lab to find out the DNA. Thus, the duo left in a hurry and said that they didn't need to go to such length. Fang Ping then praised Manager Lee for being clever and asked if Manager Lee wanted to be a martial artist. Manager Lee said that he had been saving up money to register for the training class, but Fang Ping said that it would take very long that way and his chi score would decline with age. So Fang Ping took this chance and told him that he would let him do a business and he would invest all the cash. And Mr. Lee would have gained enough to reach the ranks of the martial artist within 3 years. He also said that he has the confidence to reach rank 3 of a martial artist in the first year of his college. All Manager Lee needed to do is to use his experience and local knowledge to manage the delivery business. 1 month later, Fang Ping was strengthening his bones just like every other day. But this time, he was able to achieve a complete breakthrough towards his goal of 3 times bone forging. Through the system interface, he saw that his chi limit increased to 205 and his spirit increased to 209. However, in the past month, he had depleted almost 2 million of his wealth stats. But fortunately, he handed over the matters of the company to Li Chengzhe, so he had enough time to spend on training. The benefit of forging his bones 3 times before even becoming a martial artist is not limited to only a slight increase in chi score, but the benefits would be realized in the later stages of martial art ranks. After a few days, the school started officially, and many freshmen arrived. The Magic Dorm was divided into 4 districts based on the potential of the students, and Fang Ping was of course assigned to District 1, which was reserved mostly for martial artists. Instead of calling it a student dorm, it fitted the word luxury home better. Then he met his neighbor called Fu Chating, who surprisingly also knew about Wang Jin. Fang Ping then heard that Wang Jin defeated all rank 1 martial artists from Magic College last year. Fang Ping was surprised by hearing Wang Jin's name even in Martial University and understood how outstanding Wang Jin was. This made him want to surpass Wang Jin even more. Before Fu Chad left, he told Fang Ping to assemble at the combat training building in the afternoon, as per the school's order. At the combat building, students gathered and were chatting along. So the speaker used his chi pressure to quieten them down. The speaker then introduced himself as the dean of the weapon hall. He also told everyone that this gathering is about allocation assessment. He then told them about the allocation assessment and said that the building had 4 floors, each of which is for choosing the corresponding career the students would choose for their future. The first floor is for political studies, the second floor is for crafting, the third is for strategy learning, and the 4th floor is for practical combat. But a floor could only have 400 people in it, and if it had more than 400 people, then all the students on that floor would have 30 points deducted. He then told everyone that every freshman would have 50 points, and each point is equal to $30,000. So 30 points being deducted would be almost $1 million deducted. The students were angry hearing that. So the speaker said that they could gain points by completing missions of the academy. But he said that only the martial artists could participate in missions. When Fang Ping was pondering, he met Chad, who told Fang Ping that they should work together to get a position on the 4th floor. He also told Fang Ping that the advisors would choose the students they liked to guide in the future through observing the freshman assessment. Fang Ping knew it was important to get tutored by a good advisor, so he planned to attract all the advisors so that he could choose the advisors he wanted. And just like that, the Dean of Weapon Hall announced the start of the assessment, and thus began the flood of students getting into the building. And of course, it also gave rise to occasional disputes and fights. Meanwhile, the instructors or advisors were observing the situation from the monitors, but the Dean of Weapon Hall said that the students these days only had chi scores and no real combat experience. but they need combat experience to fend off the catacombs that are getting much more restless these days. The students were in chaos on the stairs as they competed to go to the topmost floor of practical combat, and those that already became a martial artists dominated those that didn't. And Fang Ping also started his attention-grabbing technique as he rushed through the crowd and slammed his foot on the head of the said martial artist that was blocking the entrance to the 4th floor. But he was disappointed as the people from the freshmen were not as good as he hoped. He gave up the reward of tens of millions from the Nanjing universities just so he could meet geniuses to compete against. Then he said out loud to grab the attention of everyone and said that the Magic College was just so-so. As such came the angry voice from the instructors who told everyone to beat up Fang Ping for more points. So Fang Ping asked the observers how many points he would gain if he defeats all of them. The speaker was silent and then said that it would be 1 point for non-martial artists and 5 points for martial artists. Even though the point allocation was so stingy, he still was satisfied. His neighbor Chad was still with him as he said that he also wanted to attract some attention. In the observation room, the instructors found out from the database that Chad was a young master from the capital city who is known for forging his bones twice and completing the right leg bone forging, and heard that Fang Ping came from an ordinary family and was a non-martial artist who forged bones twice. But one of the advisors with red hair said Fang Ping must have forged more than twice. The red-haired advisor was Tang Feng, rank 6 peak-level martial artist. Then other instructors also chimed in and remembered that Wang Jinyang that gave their Magic College trouble last year was also from the same area. Then they found out that Wang Jin was the one that wanted to recruit Fang Ping for 10 million. Back in the stairs, Fang Ping was defeating students left and right and was enjoying the free points that were being offered. But he was a bit tired too, as going against hundreds of them exhausted him more than he expected. And just when he was resting a bit, the person called number 1 from the freshman's batch named Zhao Lei came and smacked him. Then another girl jumped up like a frog, and both of them had forged their bones twice. He would be fine if he wasn't tired, but now he wouldn't be able to dodge. Thus he had no choice but to use the wealth stats in the system to replenish his chai. Thus he was able to dodge the attacks. He would have been had without a system at this time. So in a counterattack he slammed that bitch's face with his dirty foot. The other people also started to join the fight, seeing that Fang Ping was injured, and another Karen was fisted in the belly as she was slammed on the floor, legs open wide. Fang Ping then told his Chad friend to fight against only non-martial artists as he would deal with the martial artist. Then he noticed that another martial artist with twice boner forging also came from behind, so he placed his hand to defend himself, but unfortunately placed his hand on her mountain peaks. And when she counterattacked, Fang Ping grabbed some other guy to defend against her legs. He then saw his Chad friend getting beaten up by the horde of non-martial artists, but he didn't have the time to save him. Eventually, more and more people gathered to see the fight, but Fang Ping didn't even let off the onlookers. And just like that, the freshman assessment came to an end with most of the guys and Karens being defeated. Even Fu Chad became a true Chad as his chin had swollen up. Chad was dumbfounded as Fang Ping didn't look tired nor injured even after being gangbanged. Then the red-haired advisor, Tang Fang, came and congratulated Chad for not backing off in the face of a gangbang. But he reprimanded Fang Ping for being arrogant. So Fang Ping swore that he would teach advisor Tang a lesson in the future. After a while, the students were taken to a stadium where the names of advisors and the requirements to get chosen by the advisors were written, and most of the advisors had the requirement to forge the bones twice. So Fang Ping looked around and saw a white-haired woman named Wu Wudi. Then he saw that his name, along with Chad and Zhao Lei, was in the requirement. She also noticed Fang Ping, so she called him out. She told him that due to Wang Jin defeating many students and injuring them, the students of Magic Academy hate Wang Jin, and when people will know about his relationship of him and Wang Jin, then they would surely bully him. But she said she can provide protection against them in the school. She also told him that she had grandmasters backing her up, so she would be enough for him. But she said that her students were given dangerous missions compared to the rest of the advisors. But she also sweetened the situation, saying she had company shares in pill companies so she can give him as many pills as he wants. So the last sentence from her was enough to convince Fang Ping to choose her. So she gave him the access card to her dorm and told him to visit her anytime. Then advisor Tang Feng told her that she needs to be more caring to her students, as more than half of her students have been injured or died during past few years, which made Fang Ping stumped. And when Miss Wudi gave Fang Ping 10 chi pills, Zhao Shuamei also came and wanted to be her disciple, so she accepted her as she was one of the people on the requirement list. Fang Ping was surprised to see someone would still choose her despite hearing the casualty rate. Then he found out that his Chad friend didn't choose Tang Feng, and instead chose Luo Yichuan as he thought he would be the best for him, and also found out that the so-called #1 freshman chose Tang Fang. Then, Fang Ping asked Chad if he wanted to go to the hospital first, or collect the points first. Thus, the duo went over to redeem the points. When they got in, they attracted everyone's attention, for Chad's face was just like a real Chad's. And Chad found out that he only gained 45 points, so he was angry. Then Fang Ping requested his points, and the host was surprised when she saw that Fang Ping, a freshman, had 152 points. Fang Ping was then told that credits could be bought with 30,000 cash. But when exchanging cash by breaking credits, it's only 10,000. Fortunately, Fang Ping's system could calculate and increase his wealth stat by owning even pills and items. So when Miss Woody gave him 10 vitality pills, he gained 4 million in cash. Then the duo went to exchange some pills, and found out that the pills within the colleges cost way less than the outside market. The next day, he went over to Miss Woody, who was probably sleeping. After getting in the room, Fang Ping told her that he wanted to break through to the martial artist's rank, and told her that even though bone forging makes him stronger, he still is limited by his non-martial rank. So Miss Woody also agreed, saying that it was the right choice to break through, and he could practice his bones later, and would have a massive advantage over others for forging the bones 3 times. She then told him that he could use the pills that she gave him last time to break through to the martial artist's grade. So she guided him step by step, and Fang Ping went along with her guidance. He concentrated his qi and poured it into his veins. Miss Woody felt that with the massive amount of qi Fang Ping had, he wouldn't even need to take pills. But nonetheless, Fang Ping ate the pill to not take any risk, and after a while, he heard the system notification, as it said that he had been ranked up to the first rank of a martial artist. So he was excited, but Miss Woody told him it wasn't anything exciting, as it's something very much expected from someone with 3 times bone forging. She then told him to take the qi pills to fill up his widened veins. But 1 pill wasn't enough, so he decided to use his wealth to increase his qi. At that time, Miss Woody noticed that his vitality was increasing really fast, and was thinking if everyone with 3 times bone forging had the same absorption rate. Nonetheless, she told Fang Ping to go to the training gym on Saturday, where she would teach him combat techniques. Later that day, when Fang Ping was going to the cafeteria with Chad found out about him becoming a martial artist. In the cafeteria, he almost coughed out blood seeing the price of the dishes. Chad then told him that the dishes are made with spiritual ingredients, and even his rich family doesn't dine with them often. And when they were dining, a group of upperclassmen came and challenged him to a fight the next month. But he didn't reject them as he wants to leave an example. And just like that, the date of training came. So Fang Ping went over to the training place and saw Zhao Shuimei waiting for Miss Woody. Zhao Shuimei then talked about how Fang Ping challenged the second-year students. Miss Woody came in at this time and began the lesson. She then penetrated a wooden pole with her feet, and said that she concentrated her chai in the feet, and thus the feet became very sharp and pointy. She also said that it's a killing technique, and is used for finishing the opponent in 1 blow, and also told them that they need to get used to killing if they truly wanted to become martial artists. So she also told him to treat the challenge with the upperclassmen this time as training, and if he wins, then she would give him a big gift. And so, Fang Ping practiced this leg technique, and was able to comprehend the basics very fast. But Shuemi wasn't able to comprehend it at all. So Fang Ping said that she couldn't compare herself with a genius like himself. So in anger, Shuemi gave him a middle finger. But Fang Ping didn't mind, and practiced the steps even more. He gathered the qi, and then condensed it into a single point, and then used it with his kick to the pole. However, it just hurt his leg instead, which made Shuemi gloat. And just like that, the lesson for that day ended, and before Miss Woody left, she told Fang Ping to go to the logistics office to make a pointy shoe. After returning to his dorm, he remembered his family and called them. Then his sister picked up the phone and cried tears and snots. Then he found out that Deputy Tang was in their home, so he told Fang Yuan to give the phone to him. And when Mr. Tan picked up the phone, he told him the news of him becoming a martial artist, which made the family shocked. Later, Mr. Tan told Fang Ping's dad that since Fang Ping became a martial artist, he also would gain a promotion, and would no longer have to work as a guard. Fang Ping then went to the logistic facilities to order the pairs of shoes. But the staff working there told him that he needed to have an official martial artist identity card, and not a temporary one to order in the logistics department. Thus he had no choice but to go to the examination room to get the card. In the examination office, he met the pink Karen who sneakily attacked him last time. Then Karen named Xiaoman said that he won last time because the freshmen were unskilled, but it wouldn't be the same for the third-year students whom he challenged. But Fang Ping confidently said that he wasn't afraid of some nobodies in first rank of a warrior. She was stupefied by his arrogance and left in anger. In the room, he was told to attack the steel plate in the machine, so Fang Ping used the newly learned skill and made a dent in the plate and was able to get a permanent card. He was also told to take a test next time he breaks through. After Fang Ping left, the examiner was pondering how freshmen could do such a big dent on the testing plate. And then, the third-year students came into the exam room and analyzed the dent made by Fang Ping and said that it wasn't enough to defeat peak first-rank students like them. And they said that there is no way Fang Ping would be able to reach peak first rank within just a month. But the old staff was calling them idiots in his heart, as Fang Ping didn't use his full power at all in the kick. Nonetheless, Fang Ping got his identity card, so he went over again and found out that it would take 1 week to get the armored shoes done, and the cost was 40 academic points, which were too expensive, amounting to 1.2 million in cash. He then also ordered some knuckle weapons following Miss Woody's instructions, costing him another 10 points and making him cry tears. Then Fang Ping went over to check his company's current situation and met Manager Li. There he gave 10 chi pills that he gained from Miss Woody to sell and invest that money in the company. But Manager Li told him that Fang Ping should use the pills for himself first. So Fang Ping informed him that he already broke through to the rank 1 of warriors, so he didn't need these pills. Manager Li was shocked and said that since he became a martial artist, then the company could try to expand its business. Then Fang Ping gave another chai pill to Mr. Li and told him to train too. Thus, Mr. Li thanked him profusely, and Fang Ping went back to his dorm. 1 month later, Fang Ping was walking and getting familiar with his new armored shoes. He was then also brought to a testing facility where broken weapons were abundant. In the testing facility, he saw marks left behind by people that tested the weapons. Fang Ping also tested his shoes and was able to penetrate a thick steel plate. And during the combat class before the challenge, Miss Wu Di told him the backstory of the guy that was the mastermind behind the challenge scheme. His name is Liu Yongwen and a rank 3 martial artist. And his younger brother was beaten by Wang Jin and still lay in the hospital even after a year. She then gave him a rank 2 chi pill and told him if push came to shove, then he should use this pill to get a temporary boost in chi. Even Fang Ping was surprised by how serious Miss Woody was about the battle. When Fang Ping arrived, he was asked if he agreed with the match. Fang Ping nodded and said that he was willing. Then he was told that he would be given priority to voice out the conditions of the match since he was challenged by 4 people. So Fang Ping said, the senior students shouldn't use melee weapons as they might injure themselves when using the weapons due to their lack of skill. Second, he wants each senior challenger to give him chi pills, as he would need to replenish his chi when fighting 4 of them. And surprisingly, the opponents also agreed to give 4 chai pills. The first battle started with Fang Ping's trash-talking and ended with the death of the opponent due to the kicking technique. And the second round started with someone whose ribs were broken by Wang Jin. This time, the opponent didn't underestimate Fang Ping, so was able to fight head-on. During the intense battle between Fang Ping and Zhang Guo, Zhang unleashed a rapid barrage of punches that tested Ping's defensive skills. Ping, though annoyed, managed to block all the punches, but the relentless assault pushed his guard to its limits. Observing the situation, Xiao Shu grew concerned, fearing that someone might get seriously hurt in this round. As Zhang continued throwing punches, he contemplated Ping's stamina, expecting it to deplete soon, given Ping's reliance on blocking the relentless attacks. Ping, visibly fatigued and worn out, started feeling the impact of some punches, causing him discomfort. The toll on Ping became evident, with the ongoing struggle taking a toll on his vitality. Witnessing the situation unfold, Zhang intensified the energy and vitality behind his punches, overwhelming Ping to the point where he could no longer withstand the onslaught. Onlookers anxiously awaited Zhang's decisive move, convinced that Ping's vitality was on the brink of exhaustion. Shu, filled with concern, believed it was imperative for Ping to take the pill at that moment. Teacher Wang Huaijing, observing the struggle, concluded that Zhang's relentless assault was preventing Ping from having the opportunity to consume the necessary pills. In the midst of this, Zhang continued suppressing Ping, leaving him with no chance to replenish his strength. Surprising Ping with his speed, Zhang abruptly charged towards him, causing Ping to lose balance slightly. Seizing the opportunity, Zhang, with the intention of ending Ping's life, loaded up a powerful punch, extending himself in the process. However, Ping countered with a surprising kick from the side, connecting with Zhang's face. The impact of Ping's powerful kick instantly destroyed Zhang's face upon contact. Surprised by the strength of the kick, Zhang felt shock coursing through him as he witnessed Ping's vitality being restored remarkably quickly. However, the realization came too late for Zhang, who fell to the ground, his head hitting with a fatal blow. He lay lifeless on the ground. Wen, witnessing the shocking turn of events, was visibly stunned, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. The onlookers couldn't comprehend how Ping's blood and vitality, seemingly depleted during the intense fight, had been restored so rapidly. Teacher Wudi expressed amazement at the astonishing turn of events. Despite Ping's remarkable recovery, he expressed his desire for another challenge and suggested sending in the next opponent. In the previous fight, Ping had exhausted 140,000 wealth to restore his blood and vitality to the maximum, enabling him to fight at his peak. Wen, however, stood up and began walking away. Observing his departure, the pink-haired girl volunteered to be the next challenger against Ping. Witnessing this, Yong-won intervened, grabbing her hand and emphatically insisting that she shouldn't proceed, proposing instead that they surrender. In Wen's eyes, Ping's superiority had been conclusively demonstrated that day. Wen approached Ping and shared the story of his younger brother, who was once considered a genius like Ping. The family had high expectations for him, but after sustaining an injury from Wang Jinyang, he never fully recovered and remained a forever rank 1 warrior. Listening to Wen's tale, Ping then started walking away. Shu expressed concern, advising Ping to rest, but he mentioned having to catch a bus and decided to leave. Meanwhile, paramedics carried Ping's last opponent away on a stretcher, instilling fear in the hearts of their other teammates. The announcer called for the next contestant to come on stage, but none of them showed any enthusiasm. The group appeared disheartened and beaten. Eventually, Zhang Zhiqiang stood up, not to engage in combat, but to surrender. He deemed it unsuitable for him to continue the fight. However, one rose from the group, asserting that in martial arts, there's no clear right or wrong, only strength. He expressed the grievance that Yang had crippled his brother, vowing to do the same to Ping. Yet martial society rules prevented him from challenging a lower-ranking opponent. One eagerly awaited the moment Ping advanced to rank 3, hoping to confront and cripple him then. Just as he made this declaration, a commanding voice echoed from the crowd stairs, declaring that there was no need to wait for Ping to reach rank 3. Suddenly, the source of the authoritative voice revealed itself to be Yang, appearing with an intense rage in his eyes. Locking eyes with Wen, he issued a challenge for a duel. The crowd, witnessing Yang's unexpected return, was both surprised and excited. They couldn't believe he had come to Teacher Wu, let alone dared to challenge someone. Yang awaited Wen's response, while on the other side, Wen stood with a burning desire for revenge in his eyes. The intensity of his anger was evident. However, Teacher Wu's teacher intervened, shouting at Yang and questioning why he had come to stir trouble against the established rules. Yang, gazing directly at Wen, asserted that he had abided by the rules, which was the reason for challenging him. He went on to claim that if not for the rules, he would have beaten Wen to death by now. Turning his attention to Teacher Wu, Yang announced his imminent advancement to rank 4 in a few days, inviting Teacher Wudi to challenge him then. The unexpected declaration left Teacher Wudi in shock. Yang stood there, prepared to face anyone willing to challenge him on that day. Teacher Wudi, observing the unfolding situation, understood that with Yang breaking through to the 4th grade, he now stood at the pinnacle of the 3rd product. Recognizing the potential embarrassment if he and the students present were to challenge Yang, Teacher Wudi would lose face. Without receiving any response, Teacher Wudi began mocking the students of Teacher Wu, accusing them of only daring to bully the newcomer and tarnishing their reputation. Hearing this criticism from Yang, Ping also felt that things were escalating too far. Wen responded to Yang, asserting that Ping's challenge was fair, emphasizing that they weren't bullying him, and Ping had willingly taken it upon himself. Yang, displeased with a group of pinnacle ones challenging a freshman, believed it to be unfair. Despite wearing a smile, Yang issued another challenge, inviting anyone in Mowu who was willing to fight him and potentially take his life. Teacher Wudi became increasingly frustrated and annoyed with Yang's presence, feeling humiliated by his actions. Yang, fueled by rage, began screaming at the top of his lungs. asserting that he wouldn't hesitate to kill one of Mo Wu's students. He then issued a direct challenge to anyone from Mo Wu's class 3 to come forward and face him. In response, Teacher Woody attempted to speak, but Teacher Woody interrupted him. Recognizing the potential danger, she understood that if the 3rd grade didn't accept the challenge, many from Mo Wu might face harm due to Yang's escalating anger, primarily fueled by Ping. She questioned Teacher Wu, asking if he could bear the responsibility for the potential death of his students. Faced with this inquiry, Teacher Woody found himself speechless. Yang, standing firm, redirected his attention to Ping, assuring him that he had no connection to Ping's situation and that he was free to refuse a dangerous challenge if he felt the need to do so. Adding to his statement, Yang advised Ping not to worry about retaliation, assuring him that he would personally handle it when he reached the 4th grade in a few days. Yang expressed his intention to eliminate all the 4th grade students at Mo Wu upon his advancement. He then turned to Ping, stating that when Ping reached the 4th grade, he would target and eliminate all the 4th grade students. Hearing this, Teacher Woody intervened, stopping Yang, emphasizing that Ping was her student, and Yang had no business with him. She confronted Yang, criticizing the competition as a sham orchestrated by people he had already defeated. Emphasizing that true elites from Mo Wu wouldn't engage in such behavior, she urged him not to underestimate their school. She aimed to make Yang realize that the chaos of the day was caused by him and that he couldn't always be there to shield Ping. In response, Yang paused briefly, but then turned to Wen, questioning if he believed Yang would be powerless once he reached the 4th grade. Upon hearing the unexpected news, Wen was taken aback. Yang, seizing the opportunity, sought to provoke Wen by boasting about how he had confronted and defeated Wen's brother. Yang went further, daring Wen to seek revenge. To escalate the tension, he even challenged Wen's father, revealing that he knew he was in the 4th grade. In response, Wen gritted his teeth in anger, vehemently shouting at Yang for daring to challenge his father. As the exchange unfolded, the Martial Arts Society judge intervened, rising from their seat to inquire about Yang and how he gained entry. At that moment, Feng Qing emerged behind Yang, revealing that he had encountered Wang at the station and casually invited him for a stroll. Feng Qing supported Yang's stance, suggesting that if they disagreed with his presence, they should challenge him. He taunted them, implying their reluctance stemmed from an inability to defeat Yang. Following this, Yang turned on his heels to depart. Before leaving, he issued a challenge to everyone present, announcing his intention to be at Mo Wu for the next 3 days. He welcomed anyone to challenge him or seek revenge during this time. With those words, he left, leaving the gathered crowd in astonishment. Observing the scene, Ping couldn't help but feel that Brother Wang had stolen the spotlight from him. As the event concluded, everyone dispersed, with the Mo Wu students departing in a state of anger and annoyance. Meanwhile, Ping stood there, contemplating his successful performance, and anticipating that no one would dare to bother him in Mo Wu henceforth. Teacher Woody joined him, commending Ping for his impressive display of strength. Xiaoman, however, remained a bit puzzled about how Ping managed to replenish his depleted blood, as she hadn't witnessed him using any pills. Instead of clarifying, Ping scolded her, expressing surprise that her parents, hailing from a reputable martial arts family, hadn't taught her such basics earlier. Ping reprimands Xiaoman, cautioning her against prying into other people's secrets. His response leaves Xiaoman shocked, leading her to believe that Ping has undergone a change after having taken someone's life. Subsequently, Ping bids farewell to Teacher Woody and begins to walk away. Observing Ping's departure, Teacher Woody informs Xiaoman and Shu that it was Ping's first time killing, suggesting that it has likely left a negative impact on his heart. She advises them that Ping needs time to process and come to terms with the experience. The next morning, Ping called Yang to inquire about his whereabouts. To Ping's surprise, Yang revealed he was at Ping's school guest house. Ping, feeling a bit anxious, asked why Yang hadn't left yet and if he was genuinely waiting for someone to challenge him. Yang responded with a smile, confirming that he was indeed waiting, but no one had dared to come forward. In the hotel restaurant, Ping, Yang, and Feng Qing sat together at a table, enjoying their meal. During their conversation, Yang took a moment to impart some wisdom to Ping, emphasizing that playing 2 games was intended to teach him that warriors should not simply retreat blindly if they seek strength and survival. Ping responded by assuring Yang that he wasn't being bullied during the competition. It was his own decision to participate. Curious, Ping then asked Yang about his definition of a warrior. In turn, Yang threw the same question back at Ping, prompting him to share his thoughts on the matter. Ping calmly expressed his belief that warriors were individuals unafraid of death. Yang responded with a smile, dismissing it as nonsense since everyone experiences fear of death. Feng Qing chimed in, explaining that even masters feel fear, and the students who challenged Ping that day were no exception. This revelation left Ping in contemplative silence. Feng Qing advised Ping not to dwell on it, assuring him that martial artists adhere to rules, and their deaths were neither unjust nor in vain. Looking at Ping with pride, Feng Qing acknowledged that Ping was correct in understanding that life and death were commonplace in the world of warriors. Upon hearing this, Ping felt amazed, pondering if the essence of being a warrior was indeed centered around striving for strength and survival, a life where one must grow stronger to endure. Yang interjected, advising Ping to practice in peace and assuring him that he would get used to it. Ping couldn't help but notice the unconventional teaching approach adopted by the two. To shift the mood, Feng Qing changed the atmosphere by using a fork to feed Ping a piece of meat. Curious, Ping then inquired about Yang's mission to Magic City. However, before Feng Qing could respond, Yang intervened and halted him. Yang cast a stern look at Feng Qing, signaling him to stay silent. Addressing Ping, he reassured him not to worry about the mission, emphasizing that Ping couldn't get involved in it at the moment. Feng Qing echoed this sentiment, urging Ping to concentrate on his training. He emphasized that Yang was already formidable, and their collaboration presented an opportunity to amass wealth. Ping agreed, recognizing that these missions were currently beyond his capabilities. He understood that pressing for more information would not be beneficial, deciding instead to focus on improving his skills and strength. At Yangcheng Yiguan Lake Garden, Ping stood amidst the locals, clutching his bag. Observing children running around in the familiar surroundings, Ping experienced a sense of being back home. To his surprise, he discovered that his sister was already there, eagerly awaiting his return, even though he hadn't informed her that he would be back that day. Upon seeing his sister, Ping's eyes welled up with tears, and he went in for a big hug. However, the mischievous sister quickly sat down, skillfully dodging Ping's attempt, questioning why he had returned in the afternoon. Ping explained that he chose this time because there were fewer people on the train. Ping's sister, Fang Yuan, then began nudging him towards home. Just as they started to head home, someone called out, addressing Yuan as Big Sister. 3 little girls approached Yuan, addressing her as Big Sister, and expressing their desire to seek revenge on the boys who had attacked them in middle school. Slightly embarrassed, Yuan dismissed the girls, shushing them away. Unbeknownst to her, Ping overheard the conversation and proceeded to mock her by playfully calling her Big Sister. Ping soon realized that rather than waiting for him, his sister had been waiting for the little girls to prepare for their revenge mission. Amused, Ping grabbed Yuan by her cheek and playfully dragged her towards home. Upon reaching home, Ping's mother, who had been waiting, questioned why he hadn't called before coming back. Ping, upset with Yuan, instructed her to explain the situation to their mother. He expressed his frustration, questioning why she hadn't called the Ping Yuanxi Club. Their mother, joining the conversation, suggested that Yuan needed a lesson, emphasizing that she was just a child and should not be engaging in business with her classmates at the stall. Ping was shocked to learn that his sister had a stall, and their mother had to secure a booth every day. The fact that all the teachers in the school were aware of it added to his surprise. Additionally, Yuan had sold some of Ping's belongings without his knowledge. Upon hearing that Yuan had sold some of his belongings, Ping's annoyance escalated. Determined to teach her a lesson, he placed his hand on her head and playfully smudged her. However, his mother delivered another shock by revealing that she had sold everything except 2 of Ping's clothing items. Overwhelmed, Ping rushed to his room only to find it completely empty. In a fit of frustration, Ping entered a state of Super Saiyan, grabbing Yuan's cheeks and stretching them to the max. Despite her tears and pleas, Yuan explained that, as Ping was a warrior, everyone coveted what he had, and she couldn't resist the opportunity to make money from it. Eventually, they all sat down at the table and shared a dinner together. Ping's father, upon observing Yuan, suspected that something might have happened to her while he was away. However, Ping's mother clarified that Yuan had brought everything upon herself, asserting that she was responsible for her actions. After dinner, the family gathered in the living room, sharing laughter as Ping recounted stories of how he defeated the guys back at Mo Wu. Ping's family expressed genuine excitement and joy that he had returned alive after the challenging experiences. During his stay with them, they noticed a positive change in Ping. He took the initiative to prepare meals, offered guidance to Yuan, and even engaged in physical training with her. As the day approached for Ping to depart, he found himself at Yangcheng railway station, ready to board the train. His sister tearfully questioned why he had to leave so soon, clearly reluctant to see him go. Yuan, tearful and afraid that Ping might face bullying at school, expressed her concerns. In response, Ping assured her that he had become the real force to be reckoned with at school. As the train prepared to depart, Ping bid his farewell to Yuan. Despite his confident words, he couldn't help but shed a tear himself, seeing his sister chasing after the train through the window as it left the station. However, as soon as the train departed, Yun wasted no time and called her friends, instructing them to gather at her house swiftly. She informed them that Ping had left behind a lot of stuff, and this time they were poised to make money again. Meanwhile, at the exchange office, Ping examined his financial situation, realizing that he had spent a considerable amount of money recently. To replenish his funds, he decided it was time to exchange some pills and put them up for sale. At the exchange desk, Le Changsheng warmly greeted Ping, acknowledging that the last booth had indeed performed well and only cost 40 credits. He praised Ping for his successful earnings and mentioned that they were providing him with 4 first-grade blood pills, essentially refunding his money. Ping expressed surprise, admitting that he hadn't expected the exchange staff to be aware of the tournament. Ping continued, expressing his intention to exchange for ordinary blood pills this time. Mr. Li, in response, opened his drawer and inquired about the quantity Ping desired. To this, Ping specified that he wanted 67 of them. Mr. Li, slightly shocked, questioned Ping's motive, suspecting that he intended to sell them for a profit. He cautioned Ping, explaining that while the school didn't explicitly forbid it, selling pills was a specialized business. Mr. Li emphasized the potential risk, warning Ping that getting caught selling on a large scale could lead to financial ruin. Hearing Mr. Li's concerns, Ping confidently handed him his card, suggesting that small-scale transactions wouldn't pose a problem for him. Mr. Li, before accepting the card, clarified that exchanging 67 ordinary qi and blood pills would deduct 201 credits, leaving Ping with just 1 point remaining. Mr. Li further explained that, as Ping was in the first grade, the blood pills might not even be sufficient to sustain his training needs. Undeterred, Ping slammed the card on the desk, expressing his determination and insisting that he had thought it through and wanted the exchange. Following this, Ping headed to his room and made a phone call to Manager Li. Inquired about the possibility of selling the 70 qi and blood pills he had on hand. Manager Li, a bit shocked at the quantity, cautioned Ping that selling such a large quantity quickly wouldn't be easy and could pose a risk if inspectors caught wind of it. Ping inquired with Manager Li about the possibility of selling the 70 qi and blood pills, suggesting they follow a similar approach as last time. However, Manager Li explained that the quantity was considerably larger now, making it riskier and more likely to attract attention. Acknowledging the danger, Ping agreed and decided to explore alternative solutions. He then approached Fu Chad in his room, seeking assistance in selling the pills. Upon seeing the pills, Chad was visibly shocked and surprised. He questioned Ping, asking if he urgently needed money at home. Ping responded affirmatively, and in turn, Chad explained that buying pills directly from the exchange could be expensive. However, if someone purchased them from a private party, they could acquire the pills at a more affordable rate, typically around 60%, 70% of the original price. Upon hearing Chad's explanation, Ping grew worried, expressing concern that the suggested percentage would yield insufficient returns for him. He emphasized that in addition to the 70 ordinary blood pills, he also possessed 11 first-grade pills, each valued at $10,300,000. Having already generated $7.1 million worth of wealth from these blood pills, Ping aimed to surpass this amount to cover the difference. Excited about the potential sale, Chad suggested reaching out to his father to inquire if he would be interested in a blood potion. Ping eagerly confirmed that he had ample stock and requested Chad to convey to his father not to undervalue the product. Chad's father proposed a deal at $9 million, which was a 10% discount. Ping promptly agreed to the offer, giving a thumbs up to seal the deal. The agreed-upon amount was then transferred into Ping's account. Meanwhile, back in his hometown, Ping's sister and her friends were auctioning off all his belongings. At the training building, everyone gathered for an assembly. Xiaoman and Xu Mei were present, with Xiaoman complaining about her dark circles and lack of sleep. Fang Jing was also in attendance, mocking Xiaoman about how her dark circles wouldn't disappear, despite the numerous selfies she took. This remark angered Xiaoman. The teacher entered the training building, and the students assembled in formation. The red-haired advisor, Tang Fang, addressed the students, announcing the commencement of a special education program led by a 5-member instructors team, including Tang Fang, Teacher Wu Di, Mentor Luo Chuan, Mentor Zhenzhou Shu, and Zhou Shiping. Additionally, the dean of the school would regularly deliver lectures. The news excited the students, envisioning the opportunity to learn from a guru. Chad raised his hand and inquired about the abrupt start of the training class, especially with the dean's presence. Advisor Tang Fang praised Chad for the question, and then went on to explain the reason behind the sudden start of the training class. He revealed that, at the end of the year, all major martial arts schools in the country would participate in an exchange tournament for new students. The competition was not just about personal growth, but also about the honor of their school, making it a battle they must win. Tang Feng emphasized the need for extra effort. As students started murmuring about the upcoming nationwide competition against Kyoto University, expressing concerns about the perceived strength of their opponents, advisor Tang Feng grew angry. He raised his voice, scolding them for displaying a lack of courage and determination so early in their martial arts journey. Motivating the students, advisor Tang Feng emphasized that they were the future of Mo Wu and had been carefully selected for a reason. He informed them that joining this special training program would earn them 10 credits each. Following the training, they would select both regular and reserve team members, with additional prizes awaiting them. Fang Jing, upon hearing this, felt a surge of excitement, realizing that he could earn 10 credits for what seemed like minimal effort. While not a significant amount, he contemplated that they could still exchange it for a valuable pill. Advisor Tang Feng continued by informing the students that they would also select a class president, responsible for assisting the tutor in conveying information about assemblies and other matters, with an additional reward of 10 credits. Fang Jing voiced his opinion, deeming it too little for the role of a handyman. Advisor Wo Wudi responded, directing her words specifically to Ping, stating that as a squad leader, one needed to be strong enough to handle conflicts in the class. Advisor Tang Feng, witnessing Wo Wudi's approach, became a bit annoyed. Wo Wudi defended her stance to Tang Feng, emphasizing the importance of truth and motivation in guiding students. She then announced that the squad leader would change every half-month, with each leader receiving a 10-credit award. Wo Wudi playfully winked at Fang Jing, asking him how he felt about it now. Fang Jing found himself perplexed by teacher Wudi's actions, wondering whether she had an ulterior motive or if it was merely a benefit for the students. On the other hand, Ping was genuinely excited, realizing that in 3 months, the squad leader position would change 6 times, resulting in a total of 60 credits, a considerable amount of money. Meanwhile, advisor Tang Feng engaged in a debate with teacher Wudi about her authority to make such decisions. Wo Wudi defended her stance, questioning why there was an issue with stimulating the students' self-motivation. She suggested asking the students directly if they desired such incentives. Tang Feng, observing the students' excitement, acknowledged that the approach had indeed motivated them. Advisor Tang Feng began to announce the process for selecting the class president, but teacher Wudi intervened, stating that they shouldn't waste time with useless formalities and should get straight to the point. She stepped forward and called out Ping, Zhao Lei, and Yang Xiaoman. The 3 students emerged. Wo Wudi acknowledged that the 2 students from teacher Tang's class displayed outstanding abilities, evident to everyone. She also commended Ping's performance in the divisional college and cutthroat competition, making them the 3 candidates for class president. Wo Wudi invited anyone with objections to come forward. Students began discussing among themselves, recognizing the strength and power of the candidates. Observing this, Wo Wudi glanced at advisor Tang Feng and remarked that it seemed they didn't even need to think about it. Teacher Wudi resolved that the 3 of them would compete for the class president position. She outlined the stakes. If any of them won, they would become the class monitor, but if they lost, they would work for free. This announcement left advisor Tang Feng in silence, contemplating the tension. Ping perceived the potential conflict, anticipating that the instructor might incite a rivalry. Unexpectedly, Lei stepped forward with determination, declaring that Ping and he would go first. Recalling Ping's help during their split, Lei felt a sense of indebtedness and could not afford to lose to Ping. He expressed his gratitude to Ping for looking out for them. Ping, with a smile, accepted the acknowledgement, but emphasized that Lei should agree not to hold a grudge if he lost. Ping proposed that if Lei lost, he would work for Ping for free, doing anything asked. Excited by the challenge, Lei agreed, asserting that the same terms applied if Ping lost. Suddenly the fight commenced, and Ping swiftly charged towards Lei with incredible speed. Lei, having dedicated himself to rigorous practice since the academy ended, had successfully hardened his 9 bones in just 1 month, enhancing his speed significantly. As Ping approached with a loaded punch, Lei retaliated with a rapid counterpunch. However, Ping skillfully dodged the incoming punch, leading Lei to realize that Ping never intended to land a hit with his fists. The entire maneuver was a strategic move designed for evasion. Similarly, Ping executed a maneuver, dropping to the ground as he dodged, aiming to hit Lei in the leg. However, Lei skillfully evaded the attack, loudly proclaiming that Ping's tricks wouldn't work on him. While boasting about how he had changed since before, Ping's fist struck Lei's face with formidable force, causing his nose to break and bleed. The impact was so powerful that tears welled up in Lei's eyes. As Zhao Lei lay on the ground, Ping, seizing his shirt, reminded him that he had warned against crying. Despite the warning, Lei found himself shedding tears. Grabbing Lei by the shirt, Ping unleashed a barrage of punches on his face, simultaneously taunting him. The relentless assault left Lei on the ground, his face battered and broken, tears streaming from his eyes. Yet, Teacher Woody didn't appear impressed by Ping's beating, asserting that it didn't truly hurt Lei. Teacher Tang Fang, however, recognized that Ping hadn't intentionally beaten Lei to the point of death. Nevertheless, Lei had suffered enough to keep himself secluded for a week, unable to face others. Meanwhile, Zhao Lei lay on the ground, defeated, while Ping extended his arm, ready to face Xiao Man. Shu suggested to Xiao Man not to challenge Ping, pointing out how even Lei had been beaten. Xiao Man, glancing at Lei's battered face, couldn't shake the fear of ending up in a similar state, with people ridiculing her. Anxious and sweating, she nervously inquired of Ping whether he would use his powerful hands against her as well. Ping, with an innocent demeanor, assured her that he believed in fairness even when dealing with a beautiful woman, and stated that he would treat her the same way. Teacher Tang Fang concurred with Ping, asserting that compassion had no place in martial arts. Upon hearing this, Xiao Man surrendered, prompting Ping to taunt her for the decision. Teacher Tang Fang, wearing a somewhat displeased expression, declared that Ping was now the class president. He then turned his attention to Lei, informing him that he would visit later to discuss the training schedule. Subsequently, Teacher Tang Feng announced that training would commence the following day to avoid any conflicts with regular class schedules. Once these announcements were made, Teacher Tang Feng dismissed the class. As the class dispersed, Ping approached the battered Lei, suggesting he should take some rest. Lei, with his bruised face, glanced at Ping and remarked that the future would reveal the outcome, emphasizing that the college journey had just begun. Ping, once again mocking Lei, took note of the tears in his eyes, further infuriating Lei. As the other students left, Chad approached Ping, laughing at Lei's defeat. Ping responded, explaining that he wanted to make it clear to Lei that the previous incident wasn't an accident. Walking past Teacher Woody, Ping expressed gratitude for her guidance. Teacher Woody humbly deflected Ping's thanks, advising him that having more resources could accelerate his progress, but might also hasten his demise. She emphasized the importance of seizing opportunities to gain credit and resources, acknowledging that Ping's proactive approach was commendable. Teacher Woody explained that if Mo Wu were to be defeated in the tournament, the national resources allocation would be affected, potentially diminishing the value of credits. Ping and Chad exuded confidence, urging Teacher Woody not to underestimate their capabilities. In response, Teacher Woody pointed out that Mo Wu and Jing Wu were among the world's most prestigious schools, always enjoying a resource supply several times greater than ordinary military schools. She added, however, that in the past 2 years, students from elite schools had been consistently defeated by a student from an ordinary military school, named Yang. The teacher continued to express concern, noting that the elite school, despite its abundant resources, had consistently fallen short in competitions against students from Wudong University. This situation was perceived negatively in terms of how resources were allocated among major martial arts schools. There was a collective sentiment among the faculty that, had they possessed resources comparable to the two prominent martial arts schools, they could have nurtured additional talented students akin to Yang. Upon hearing this, Ping came to the realization that he wasn't the main character in this scenario. Rather, it was Yang who held that role. Teacher Woody pointed out that, combined with recent events, there was a desperate struggle for resources, creating an opportune moment for them to showcase their strengths and secure the needed support. As Ping absorbed this information, a sudden recollection of Yang's advice about not mixing things up in the Magic City struck him. A sense of anticipation lingered in Ping's mind, as he sensed that something significant was on the horizon. During lunchtime, Ping took a seat in the cafeteria, contemplating his training and strategizing on how to accelerate his progress to catch up with Yang. Lost in his thoughts, he inadvertently overheard other students discussing him and Zhao Lei. As the students engaged in conversation, they marveled at how quickly Ping had ascended to the top of the first grade, considering the recent commencement of their academic journey. A girl in the group raised a question, pondering whether Ping harbored an inferiority complex. She pointed to an incident where he ruthlessly beat Chad Ding upon his arrival at the academy. The discussion then shifted to a comparison of handsomeness between Ping and his opponents. Abruptly, Xiaoman joined the conversation, revealing another dimension to Ping's alleged jealousy. She claimed that Ping wasn't only envious of men, but also harbored resentment towards women. Xiaoman provided examples, stating that Ping had even resorted to violence against female students at the academy. She went on to share a personal encounter, asserting that Ping had attempted to assault her during a special class the day before. Upon hearing Xiaoman's account, the other girls expressed sympathy towards her. In response to the disconcerting revelations, Ping seethed with anger and rage. Xiaoman, taking her assertions further, issued a cautionary warning to all the girls, advising them against considering Ping as a potential boyfriend due to his purported sadistic and violent tendencies. She urged them to keep Ping single for the entirety of their 4 years and encouraged the spreading of this caution to younger girls to prevent them from falling prey to him. The collective belief in Xiaoman's words solidified among the girls, aligning them against Ping. Simultaneously, Ping simmered with fury, contemplating revenge against Xiaoman for spreading damaging rumors about him. Adding to his distress, Chad added insult to injury by suggesting that Ping's lack of intervention on the day of the incident might be rooted in jealousy over his own looks. Ping vehemently denied this accusation in a heated response. In the quiet of the night, Ping found himself jolted awake by a rumbling sensation, convinced that an earthquake was shaking the surroundings. In the wake of the tremors, a wave of panic swept through the dormitory, with students hastily fleeing their rooms in fear. However, the disturbance subsided after a few tense moments. An advisor soon arrived to reassure everyone, emphasizing the school's robust seismic resistance and urging the students to return to their slumber. Ping, still in a state of shock, grappled with confusion, questioning whether the disturbance was indeed an earthquake or something more mysterious. He reasoned that Mo Wu, their location, wasn't known for seismic activity. Unbeknownst to the students, a formidable group of individuals had infiltrated the school premises during the night. The following day, as the students gathered in their classrooms, a strikingly beautiful teacher entered. Radiating grace, Bai Ruoxi, the Weapons Academy instructor, introduced herself to the class. Chad found himself particularly drawn to her beauty. Teacher Ruoxi then presented a document, a confidentiality agreement, describing it as a letter of responsibility and a letter of life and death. She emphasized that everything learned and heard must remain confidential and should not be disclosed. She emphasized that in the event of a student being seriously injured or killed during a mission, they would bear the consequences themselves. Ruoxi then offered the chance for students to leave if they wished, but none chose to do so. Impressed by their commitment, Teacher Ruoxi commended the quality of Mo Wu's students. With that, she initiated the first official lesson of the special training class. Ruoxi began with a historical overview, noting that 100 years ago, martial artists were considered nonsense. However, in the following year's first month, Chinese newspapers officially recognized the existence of warriors. In that same year, the Kyushu Wudosha, the precursor to the current Kyoto Wushu University, was founded as a result of a devastating event. The preceding year had witnessed a catastrophic earthquake that claimed the lives of thousands of people. Following that event, martial artists took center stage, initiating large-scale and systematic training programs. Over the years, the number of martial artists in the country had accumulated to millions, driven by the societal and humanitarian need for their skills. Hearing this revelation, the students were shocked and attentive. Teacher Ruoxi elaborated, stating that their common adversary was the dungeon. She clarified that the nature of the dungeon remained unexplained. Initially, they believed it might be an underground world, but despite organized efforts by warriors to dig tens of thousands of meters, no trace of the crypt was found. The entrances and exits of a dungeon were underground, but the worlds within them were not. The movements within these dungeons cause earthquakes. Currently, in China alone, there were 22 disclosed entrances to these dungeons. When a student inquired about what existed in those dungeons, Teacher Ruoxi responded that it was an entirely new world, albeit lacking modern civilization. She explained that the inhabitants of these dungeons, including humans, animals, and monsters, were very similar to those on Earth. Ruoxi then recounted an incident when someone attempted to destroy the gateway to a dungeon, causing creatures inside to rush out, resulting in tragic consequences. When Ping asked why these creatures came out and if the cave was a hostile environment, Teacher Ruoxi replied that the cause of the invasion was yet to be determined. She emphasized that the environment inside the dungeon was not different from the normal world, and was even better in terms of overall conditions. Furthermore, she added that all technologies and weapons prove useless there, and only the blood and chi of martial artists were effective. Excited by the prospect, Ping wished for his wealth to work there, envisioning infinite ammunition. He pondered on Wang Jintang, wondering if he could be their savior, considering his intense cultivation without a system. Meanwhile, Yang and Feng Qing found themselves in a distant forest, seemingly fleeing from something. Yang dragged Feng Qing by his shirt, yelling that he almost died with him. They had invaded a village, but facing formidable opponents, they were now forced to escape. Dragging Feng Qing along, Yang remarked that the cave on the side of the demon capital was a bit unusual, with empty villages suggesting people might be escaping through the dungeon door. Expressing concern, he feared that Feng Qing might face a situation similar to Tianan. Feng Qing, despite his scarred and beaten face, smiled, assuring Yang that the Magic City had many powerful individuals, and they need not worry. Yang, however, yelled at Feng Qing, stating that if the situation mirrored Tianan, the Grandmaster would have already blocked the gate, leaving them trapped in the dungeon. In Tianan, Yang vividly recalled a moment where he pleaded with someone not to go back into the dungeon to save him. The determined man responded that it was his responsibility to take care of the person, and the master would soon forcibly close the door. With a smile, the man asked Yang to take care of Nini if he didn't make it back. In the present, Yang remained unsure of the fate of the man, who was his teacher, inside the sealed Tianan cave. Immersed in his thoughts, Yang's companion, Feng Qing, suggested that they should bring Ping with them next time. Feng Qing observed that Ping was improving rapidly, and having a team of 3 would make them significantly stronger. Upon reaching a cliff, Yang expressed his belief that Ping was still weak since he was only a first-class martial artist. Feng Qing, upon hearing this, was reminded that Ping was indeed just a first-class practitioner. While gazing at the splendid and serene scenery from the cliff, Feng Qing marveled at the beauty of a world devoid of people and monsters. In the school's training ground, Ping was engaged in stick method practice with an instructor. The instructor imparted various basic moves to Ping, and emphasized the crucial targets he should have concentrated on during fights. Emphasizing the importance of being both agile and robust, the instructor guided Ping through the sparring session, with fellow students attentively observing the lesson. The instructor, Luo Yichuan, maintained a relentless assault on Ping, who diligently defended himself. Suddenly transitioning from upper attacks to a sweep attack, the instructor caught Ping off guard, causing him to trip and fall. Yichuan then set his stick aside and queried the students about the basic moves he had demonstrated, ensuring they paid attention. Holding the rank of a 6th grade intermediate, Yichuan's lessons sparked joy among the students, prompting them to request another demonstration, eager to witness Ping's fall once more. Upon hearing the collective murmurings of the students, Instructor Yichuan commanded Ping to return to the line. With his face visibly swollen from the earlier attacks, Ping rose and walked back into formation. As he passed by Xiao Man and the others, laughter erupted, even Chad chiming in with a mock about the challenges of being a class monitor. Enraged, Ping shot a menacing glare at Chad, warning him to hold his tongue. The day continued to unfold with a series of unfortunate events for Ping. He endured another round of beatings, this time in Instructor Tang Fang's footwork class, and yet again in Zhou Shi's palm technique class. The entire class, witnessing Ping's consecutive defeats, couldn't help but burst into laughter at his expense. Following the series of classes, the student versus student drill commenced, and Ping, eager for an opportunity to prove himself, sought out the most energetic students to practice with. Seizing the chance, he exacted revenge on those who had mocked him earlier, delivering a satisfying beating. As the training session drew to a close, the students filed out, and each received a ranking list. Chad, upon perusing the list, displayed a hint of surprise upon discovering that his principal was only ranked 41st. May explained to him that the list specifically recorded fighters known to the public, encompassing various factions such as sects, ministries of war, detectives, town guards, and more. Securing the 41st position in the rankings was already a commendable feat for the principal. Ping, on the other hand, eagerly scanned the list for Yang's name, only to find him at a surprising 27th place. This revelation underscored that even the most formidable individuals were not necessarily at the pinnacle of the martial arts world, casting a significant light on the authority of the list. Motivated by this, all students harbored aspirations to one day make it onto this prestigious ranking. The following day, in Instructor Wo Wudi's office, she had returned from the dungeon, signaling a temporary conclusion to the events transpiring there. Ping and Mei, present in the office, inquired about the safety of the dungeon, seeking assurance that the ordeal was now over. Teacher Wudi responded, explaining that creatures from the dungeon were intensifying their attacks on the dungeon doors, indicating an imminent surge in resource demands. She added that the school would be elevating the difficulty of their training in response. Informing them of an upcoming journey, Teacher Wudi advised Ping and Mei to take a rest and begin packing in 2 days. Concerned about the destination, Ping sought clarification, and Teacher Wudi reassured him that it wasn't the dungeon they were heading to. She approached Ping, reminding him of a promise, the pledge of an amazing gift if he emerged victorious in the tournament. Instructing Ping and Mei to wait outside, she hinted at something significant awaiting them. As they waited, a beautiful car driven by Teacher Wudi pulled up in front of them. Ping, catching a glimpse of the luxurious vehicle, momentarily believed it might be the promised gift from Teacher Wudi. However, she shattered his expectations, instructing him to get into the car. The car journeyed outside the Magic City, eventually halting in front of a substantial door guarded by 2 sentinels. Teacher Wudi led Ping and Mei towards the entrance. Upon reaching the door, the guards demanded 10K per person for tickets. Teacher Wudi, without hesitation, tossed a pill to the guard, who, upon inspecting the ordinary blood pill, permitted their entry. As they ventured inside, Ping couldn't help but feel perplexed about the substantial payment for what appeared to be an ordinary country house. When he questioned Teacher Woody about it, she remained silent, opting instead to open a door before them. As the door swung open, a cacophony of cheers erupted from a massive wild crowd witnessing an intense fight. Blood sprayed in all directions, and the brutality of the scene overwhelmed May, who felt nauseated. In a stern tone, Teacher Woody advised May to leave if she couldn't handle the spectacle. However, May composed herself and affirmed that she could endure it. Observing May's initial reaction, Ping recalled his own similar response when he first encountered blood and brutality. Amidst the chaos, two well-dressed men approached Teacher Woody, indicating familiarity with her. Without exchanging pleasantries, Teacher Woody directed them to arrange a stay at the morgue for Ping. Bewildered, Ping couldn't fathom why he was being sent to the morgue. The men promptly ordered Ping to accompany one of them to the morgue and left him there. Overwhelmed with fear, Ping questioned Teacher Woody, reminding her of the promised amazing gift. With a mischievous smile, Teacher Woody revealed that the morgue day tour was the promised gift. Hearing this, Ping felt disheartened and shattered. Meanwhile, inside the management room of the fighting club, organizers were upset about students from Wuhan University participating in the fights. A confident fighter in the room proclaimed that he could defeat the Wuhan student currently in the ring within 10 minutes. In the morgue room, Ping encountered lifeless bodies strewn about. A TV played horror movies, creating a chilling atmosphere. As Ping approached one of the deceased, he closed his eyes. Upon inspecting the body's hands, Ping noticed that the right hand was stronger than the left. He then checked the throat area, deducing that the person had met their demise through a fatal blow delivered by fists. After inspecting the first body, Ping moved on to examine the others in the morgue. To his surprise, as he placed a body back on its stretcher, all the corpses suddenly rose like zombies. Startled but quick to react, Ping swiftly kicked the bodies away with a powerful leg swing. In the process, he noticed a wire break, realizing that it was a setup orchestrated by Teacher Woody and the Fight Club management. Showing respect, Ping carefully returned the bodies to their stretchers and offered his apologies. Outside, the fights continued, and another challenger succumbed, ending up in the morgue. Ping and other members of the Fight Club proceeded to place the deceased in a body bag. The members of the Fight Club were astounded to witness Ping handling the bodies with such calm composure, finding it hard to believe he wasn't affected by their attempts to scare him. Ping's apparent fearlessness, he reasoned, stemmed from his prior exposure to blood. While offering prayers for the deceased challengers, Ping reflected on their status as social warriors without the backing of a family or support system. In his thoughts, he concluded that a fighter lacking strength should lead a more conventional life. As lunchtime arrived, Teacher Woody, May, and Ping sat in the cafeteria, partaking in a meal featuring a bloody steak. Observing the gruesome dish, May felt queasy and unable to eat, sensing an impending urge to vomit. Teacher Woody informed them that during their upcoming dungeon expedition, they would need to consume dry or raw food. She then inquired about Ping's experience spending a day with corpses. After a brief pause, Ping responded, emphasizing that the life of a warrior was not as glamorous as perceived by ordinary people. Teacher Woody then brought up the idea of participating in Mortal Kombat, a game that she believed would enhance Ping's strength and combat experience. Nervous at the sudden proposal, Ping expressed his apprehension. However, May eagerly requested to join. Teacher Woody, deeming May too weak for such an endeavor, denied her. This dismissal angered May, who proclaimed her strength by stating that she had hardened 40 bones and wasn't afraid of the participants in Mortal Kombat. Teacher Woody, while cutting her steak, clarified that the issue wasn't May's physical strength, but her lack of experience with blood. In response, May, determined to prove herself, promptly took a bite from her steak. However, as May took a bite, she grew even more nauseous, desperately holding back the urge to vomit before rushing to the bathroom. Concerned, Ping questioned Teacher Woody about May's energetic behavior. Teacher Woody explained that May's father, a 4-ranked martial artist, had perished in the Battle of Tianan Dungeon. Consequently, various forces were now prying into the business her father had left behind, driving May's determination and activity. Desperation for power drove May, as without it, she couldn't sustain her family's business left behind by her late father. Teacher Woody clarified to Ping that he lacked the same motivation. Annoyed, Ping questioned the purpose behind his own motivation. Teacher Woody promptly shut him down, stating that Ping's motivation was simply not wanting to die, a strong enough reason in itself. Suggesting an alternative, she proposed that since Ping lacked the courage to fight to the death, he should consider participating in a regular season game. Agreeing with Teacher Woody's suggestion, Ping found himself inside the ring on the night of the fight. The manager assured him that the regular game was relatively safe, emphasizing that they wouldn't intentionally harm anyone. Curious about potential winnings, Ping inquired, and the manager disclosed a prize of 50,000, with the option for Ping to place additional bets. In a whispered revelation, the manager informed Ping that his opponent, handpicked by teacher Woody, was a seasoned veteran at the peak of his skills, with odds at least 3-1 in his favor. Driven by greed, Ping boldly bet 1 million on himself, while teacher Woody placed a substantial 5 million on his victory, stipulating that if he lost, she expected her money back. Upon hearing teacher Woody's support, Ping expressed his gratitude and used the students as leverage in his bets. May, catching on to the betting enthusiasm, joined in and wagered 1 million on Ping. With all the bets in place, the match announcer took the stage, summoning the opposing side into the ring. Ping and his formidable opponent, known for his long hair, entered the ring, standing on opposite sides. The crowd erupted in chants and excitement, creating a lively atmosphere. The announcer introduced Ping's adversary as a peak martial artist of the first grade, named Blackface. With a muscular and intimidating appearance, Blackface garnered fervent support from the enthusiastic crowd. The announcer then introduced Ping with the title of the Blade King. However, upon hearing his name, the crowd reacted unfavorably, booing him and shouting in disapproval. May found the name the Blade King to be somewhat silly, but teacher Woody explained that Ping deliberately chose an established impression to mislead the enemy. She highlighted that Ping was not only proficient with his fists and feet, but also had skillful weapon usage, allowing him flexibility in the fight. This versatility could potentially lead to surprising attacks, providing Ping with an advantage. May diligently noted these insights in her handy diary. Inside the ring, Ping addressed Blackface with an unconventional approach, calling him uncle, and mentioning that it was his first fight, asking for some leniency. Ping added that if he couldn't win, he would admit defeat. In response, Blackface simply stated that it all depended on the unfolding events. Ping attempted to convey that the regular season didn't necessitate a fight to the death, but Blackface paid no heed, finding Ping's words annoying. As the bell rang to signal the beginning of the battle, Ping wasted no time and launched a powerful kick towards Blackface's head, only to have it skillfully blocked. Undeterred, Ping unleashed a series of kick attacks, each met with Blackface's arm guard. Despite his defensive stance, Blackface couldn't help but acknowledge the power and speed behind Ping's strikes, surprising him. The crowd, witnessing Blackface primarily on the defensive, grew increasingly frustrated. The spectators began yelling, urging Blackface to fight back and land a hit on Ping's head. Ping abruptly shifted his strategy, ceasing the barrage of face kicks and redirecting his focus to Blackface's legs. While Blackface was occupied blocking the leg attacks, Ping seized the opportunity to deliver a surprising and powerful fist to Blackface's face. The unexpected strike caused Blackface to spit blood and be pushed back. Following up, Ping unleashed another fist, this time met with Blackface's block. Undeterred, Ping launched yet another follow-up fist, imbued with increased energy and power. Despite Blackface's guarded defense, the impact of Ping's punches took a toll, inflicting pain on his opponent. Overwhelmed by the force of Ping's fists and kicks, Blackface eventually conceded, signaling his surrender. Ping graciously stopped and expressed gratitude towards Blackface. The crowd, in disbelief, stared with wide-open mouths, realizing that their favorite warrior had been defeated, resulting in the loss of their bets. May and teacher Woody wore expressions of mild surprise, although teacher Woody maintained a nonchalant demeanor. The crowd, perplexed by the swift conclusion of the fight, speculated whether it was a stage performance. Despite initial skepticism, they grew to appreciate the Blade King's talent, now intrigued by his abilities. However, teacher Woody remained unimpressed, noting that the combat had been brief, and Blackface was not a formidable opponent. After the fight, Ping proceeded to collect his rewards, combining them with the bets to amass a substantial 3.1 million. The system automatically deducted the 1 million Ping had initially invested. Suddenly, a notification appeared, indicating that the wealth had surpassed the 10 million mark, prompting the system to level up. A subsequent message announced the completion of the leveling up process, unveiling a new ability for Ping called Reforged Bones. Upon reading about the new ability, Ping recognized the potential convenience of using it within the system to reforge his bones. Typically, bone reforging was both troublesome and perilous. Acting on impulse, Ping decided to utilize the ability, initiating a process that displayed 40 pieces and the percentage of bones being reforged. In a matter of seconds, the reforging completed, and Ping sensed a heightened strength, as if his bones had undergone a rapid transformation. However, a moment of realization struck when Ping checked his wealth and discovered a deduction of 100,000. It dawned on him that the ability had consumed his wealth, and he discerned that reforging just 1% of a single bone required a hefty sum of 100,000. The prospect of reaching rank 3 seemed impossible, and even achieving the pinnacle of rank 1 would demand more than 10 million from Ping. As night fell, teacher Woody, Ping, and Mei embarked on their journey back to the school. Ping, visibly despondent, sat in the car, and teacher Woody, noticing his mood, cautioned him against dwelling on it. She reminded Ping that she had fulfilled her part of the bet, and since he won, he should return the money. Puzzled, Ping didn't understand what teacher Woody was referring to. Ping mustered a smile and turned to Mei, asking for the money she had won by betting on him. Mei flatly rejected his request, vehemently telling him to stay away. Seizing the moment, teacher Woody suggested that Ping could ask Mei out, and if they became a couple, the money would belong to both of them. Mei, feeling anxious, expressed her concern, but Ping clarified that he wasn't thinking about that at the moment. At the logistics department's mission receiving, teacher Tang Fang gathered all the students to announce the availability of missions for the month. Excitement filled the air as students learned they could now receive and undertake missions directly from the logistics department. Ping, too, was thrilled by the prospect, seeing it as an intriguing opportunity to augment his wealth. However, the joyous atmosphere was interrupted by a commanding voice echoing through the hall. The source of the voice was none other than the dean. Expressing his dissatisfaction, the dean remarked that even after a month of special courses, the students still exhibited a lack of diligence. With a formidable presence, he emphasized the increasing number of dungeons and the growing demand for strong individuals to secure resources. The dean urged the students to participate and excel in the national sparring competition, highlighting its potential to yield more resources for them. In a burst of frustration, Dean Huangjing loudly scolded the students, branding them a bunch of dipshits and sternly commanding them to get serious. As a formidable rank 7 grandmaster, Huangjing demanded discipline and commitment from the student body. He proceeded to outline the upcoming plans, dividing the students into 5 teams, each led by an instructor. Wang Jing stressed the competitive element, declaring that the team completing the most missions would earn an additional 100 credits. Furthermore, he revealed that the top 10 individuals from these teams would represent the Magic University in the upcoming national sparring competition, an event of paramount importance. Singling out Ping, Lei, Chad, Xiaoman, and Chen Yunxi as students with above-average capabilities, Huang Jing appointed them as team leaders. Each leader was then assigned a list of students for their respective teams. Ping found himself leading a team that included members such as Zhao Qing, Wu Keipeng, Zhou Yuehong, Li Si, Mei, Song Ting, and 3 others. Upon reviewing the assigned team members, Ping felt a hint of concern, realizing that aside from Mei and Song Ting, the rest of his team members lacked notable prowess. Adding salt to Ping's worries, Chad joined in with taunts, suggesting that the team was intentionally balanced, relying on Ping's strength to compensate for the perceived weaknesses of the other members. Chad, in a bit of trash talk, hinted at Fang Tang's inclination towards choosing a beautiful girl, if given the chance. In response, Fang Tang reshuffled the teams, assigning Zhang Yue and Shu and Wen Yu to Chad's team. The arrival of special course instructor Zhou Shi brought a new dynamic to the situation. Announcing himself as their instructor for completing missions, Zhou Shi delegated the responsibility of choosing a mission to the team captains. Ping, the designated captain, was entrusted with this task. Zhou Shi clarified that his role was solely to ensure the team's safety, emphasizing that he wouldn't interfere with other aspects of the mission. Zhou Shi, appearing to be around 50 to 60 years old, maintained a reserved demeanor and wasn't known for being talkative. His expertise in palm techniques, a discipline uncommon in the Magic University, resulted in a limited number of students under his tutelage. Despite this, his formidable strength and extensive experience made him one of the oldest and respected instructors. As Ping delved into the mission selection process, the gravity of the decision became apparent. Various missions, ranging from military and investigation to police and school-related tasks, presented different levels of difficulty, rewards, and time requirements. Aware of the limited 1-month time frame, Ping contemplated the need to strike a balance between time constraints, mission difficulty, and potential rewards. Realizing the importance of cost-effectiveness, Ping suggested to his team that they start with an easy mission. Upon selecting an easy mission, an information card appeared, detailing a person named Lin Qing. The card revealed Lin Qing to be at level 1 mid-stage, having previously killed a practitioner at the rank 1 beginner stage. Upon learning that the mission involved capturing Lin Qing with a reward of 120,000 cash, Song Ting expressed concern about starting with a level 1 mission. He argued that their collective strength was not weak, and there was no need to be overly cautious. Song Ting also pointed out that the reward was too small for them to split, impacting their preparations for the upcoming sparring competition. Suggesting that they take on at least a level 2 warrior, Song Ting believed it would be more beneficial. In response, Ping questioned Song Ting's confidence in facing a level 2 warrior. as Song Ting admitted to never having fought someone of that caliber before. Ping emphasized the seriousness of the situation, stating that these criminals fought for their lives, and the mission could become more challenging if something happened to any team member. While Song Ting believed having an instructor like Zhou Shi would provide protection, Zhou Shi remained silent. Asserting his authority as the team captain, Ping declared that he would be the one making decisions. With a determined expression, Ping addressed Song Ting, affirming his commitment to follow Ping's orders for the next month. Ping emphasized that he wasn't interested in engaging in petty disputes, but welcomed anyone with a genuine problem to challenge him. Song Ting, sensing the seriousness of Ping, quickly agreed to comply with Ping's leadership. As they set their sights on the mission to capture Lin Qing, Ping examined recent clues, discovering that Lin Qing had a penchant for gambling. Ping formulated a plan based on this information, determining that Lin Qing could likely be found in some underground casinos. Mei raised a concern about the multitude of casinos, wondering what would happen if they couldn't locate Lin Qing. Ping established a 3-day time frame, declaring that if they couldn't find him within that period, they would accept a 10% deduction from the rewards. After issuing the order for everyone to be prepared in an hour, Ping walked away with a clear purpose. Song Ting, however, took the opportunity to disparage Ping, claiming he was scared and not considering the potential rewards they could attain. Despite the negative comments, others in the team recognized that their fate was tied to Ping's leadership. As the team arrived at one of the bustling casinos in the northern part of the Magic City, the atmosphere was lively with people engrossed in various betting activities. Ping, positioned on the second floor, carefully surveyed the surroundings, scanning the area for any sign of their mission target, Lin Qing. Ping directed everyone to disperse and search for Lin Qing within the expansive casino. Teams A and B reported back with no success, causing some tension among the group. Despite the initial setbacks, Ping encouraged them to persist and conduct a thorough search. Observing his teammates' nervousness and lack of experience, Ping pondered the situation. In the midst of his contemplation, Ping noticed Instructor Zhou silently observing from a corner, his gaze cold and unwavering. Ping couldn't help but wonder if Zhou would truly assist them in a critical moment, questioning the reliability of their instructor in this high-stakes mission. Ping, contemplating the calculated risks and sacrifices made by the Magic University, believed that Instructor Zhou would not intervene until everyone was safely out. He perceived the strategy as a form of equivalent exchange, sacrificing a few weaker students for the overall awakening and development of a new generation of martial artists. Ping reflected on the apparent purposeful selection of first-year students, like himself, for these dangerous missions. He questioned why the more powerful third-year students were not taking on these high-stakes tasks. Amid these reflections, Team D reported that they had located the target, prompting Ping to instruct them to lock onto Lin Qing and rally the other teams. Ping sprinted toward Team D's position, urging them to wait until the entire team gathered. However, Song Ting had already engaged in a confrontation, disregarding Ping's orders. Upon reaching Team D, Ping and the rest of the group found Song Ting seated beside the lifeless body of Louis. Louis's battered form showed signs of a struggle, with a visible wound on his head from which blood was oozing. Song Ting remarked that the 120,000 cash reward was insufficient for the time they wasted, suggesting they could have taken on more challenging tasks during that period. Hearing this, Ping, already angered by Song Ting's insubordination, reminded him that he specifically instructed him to wait until the entire team gathered. Song Ting retorted, stating he acted swiftly because the target could have escaped, emphasizing that Ping, being the team leader, did not grant him the authority to waste their time. Mei intervened, shouting at Song Ting, asserting that it was Ping's strategy of splitting into groups that enabled them to find Louis quickly. Other team members sided with Tang Song, agreeing that they wasted considerable time for a relatively small reward. Mei continued to defend Ping's orders, highlighting that he prioritized everyone's safety. In a fit of anger, Song Ting challenged Ping, questioning why, as Magic University students and martial artists, they were afraid of taking on higher-level missions. Ping, wearing his usual nonchalant expression, casually suggested to Song Ting that he could have left if he had wanted to. He went on to mention that he could talk to the instructor to have Song Ting placed in another group, and if others had wished to follow suit, they were welcome to leave as well. Upon hearing this, Song Ting pondered for a moment, considering the idea that if Ping hadn't defeated 2 rank 1 pinnacle warriors, he could potentially challenge him. Despite this thought, Song Ting decided against escalating the situation and opted not to leave. Instead, he chose to ignore the suggestion, unwilling to disrupt the current circumstances. Observing Song Ting's response, Ping maintained his silence. Song Ting then proceeded to join the rest of the group, where a wave of excitement swept through them as they realized the first mission had been successfully completed, and it turned out to be remarkably straightforward. Despite the ease with which the missions were accomplished, Ping couldn't shake off his concern that his team's perception of them being too easy might lead to overconfidence, which could prove detrimental. Meanwhile, at the school, instructors gathered to brief the dean on the progress of various groups. Zhou Shi acknowledged Ping's leadership skills, but pointed out his tendency to be excessively cautious. Advisor Tang Feng suggested making Chad the team leader for the upcoming sparring competition, emphasizing his suitability. However, Teacher Wudi rejected the idea, expressing reservations about Chad's lack of power and ability to contend with Lei. In response to the concerns raised, the dean issued a directive to Zhou Shi, instructing him to closely monitor Ping's actions. For the upcoming mission, the dean suggested deliberately introducing challenges to observe how Ping would handle adversity. The dean was particularly interested in evaluating Ping's response in the face of danger, whether he would choose to escape, seek assistance, betray his teammates, or bravely confront the challenges head-on. The intention was to gauge Ping's decision-making and leadership under more demanding circumstances. At the mission receiving center, Zhou Shi briefed Ping's team, outlining the distribution of rewards for their upcoming assignment. He specified that Song Ting would receive 25% of the rewards, while the two individuals who located the target would share another 25%. The remaining 50% would be divided among the other 7 team members. Upon hearing this, a sense of worry swept through the team, with one member expressing concern about the perceived inadequacy of their share. Song Ting reassured the worried member, assuring them that the team's fortunes would improve when they undertook a Rank 1 pinnacle difficulty mission next, promising rewards for everyone. In a mocking and taunting manner, Song Ting then turned his gaze towards Ping, questioning whether he would comply with his instructions this time. Ping chose to remain silent, leaving his response to the unspoken challenge hanging in the air. Observing Ping's silence, Song Ting took it upon himself to select the mission, opting for one with higher difficulty this time. As the mission details unfolded, their target was revealed to be Shi Feng, a formidable Rank 1 pinnacle warrior skilled in hand-to-hand combat. The reward for this mission stood at 15 credits, with the potential to add 5 more through their collective efforts. Song Ting expressed satisfaction with the mission's promising rewards, confident that the group of 10 students could easily overcome a Rank 1 pinnacle warrior. In contrast, Ping chose not to participate in the decision-making and remained quietly on the sidelines. However, Ping sensed an air of suspicion surrounding the mission. The mission details included a tip, suggesting that it was advisable to have 3 Rank 1 pinnacle warriors, or at least 1 Rank 2 warrior to successfully complete the task. This left Ping puzzled, questioning why a Rank 1 pinnacle criminal mission would necessitate 3 individuals of the same rank or a higher-tier warrior. Ping directed his gaze towards Zhou Shi, wondering if he held any insights into the peculiar nature of the mission. Despite his suspicions, Zhou Shi remained tight-lipped. Finally, breaking his silence, Ping addressed the group, acknowledging their capability to undertake the mission. However, he cautioned them, pointing out that despite the seemingly high reward, the target might prove more challenging than anticipated. Ping urged the team to prioritize their safety in case they found themselves unable to overcome the formidable target. Song Ting, however, took a more casual approach, expressing confidence in their abilities as Magic University students, asserting that they would prevail against any adversary, regardless of their strength. Witnessing his teammates exuding such unwavering confidence, Ping could only harbor a hope that his concerns were unfounded. Meanwhile, as the team engaged in discussions, Instructor Zhou Shi remained stationary, emanating a cold and reserved demeanor. On the day of the mission, Ping and Mei traveled to the designated location by car. Seated in the passenger seat, Ping contemplated his current state, noting that his qi and blood had reached approximately 290, a level close to that of a beginner stage Rank 2 warrior. Determined, he resolved to give his best effort, even if their opponent turned out to be of Rank 2. Upon reaching the North Area Clear Rock Village, the other team members also arrived, and they collectively examined the mission information, deliberating on their next moves. Ping briefed them, suggesting that Shi Feng might be hiding in a nearby village and could potentially choose the ocean route for escape rather than the land route. Mei, however, expressed skepticism, questioning the precision of the information and wondering why the military wasn't handling the situation themselves. Ping pondered the situation, realizing that the mission they had undertaken, involving the capture of Shi Feng, should fall under the jurisdiction of the investigation department rather than the military. This led him to suspect that the individuals Shi Feng had killed might have had connections with the military. Other team members shared similar sentiments, finding it peculiar that the military hadn't dispatched a higher-ranked warrior to handle the situation and had instead assigned their team. Zhou Shi overheard their discussions and affirmed their observations, acknowledging that the military's intention was to provide students with first-hand experience in dealing with formidable targets like Shi Feng. However, he revealed another motive behind the mission, addressing the issue of new martial artists who, fueled by overconfidence, were causing chaos and taking lives without considering the consequences. Zhou Shi emphasized that the Military and Investigation Department had assigned these missions to the school to convey a crucial message. Irrespective of their standing, criminals must face the consequences of their actions. Ping grasped the significance of using such missions to train a large number of martial artist students within the martial schools. After thoughtful consideration, Ping proposed to his team that they conduct their search at night to avoid drawing attention. However, teammate Zhao Qing suggested a more immediate approach, advocating for daytime exploration. He reasoned that daytime would be advantageous, as workers would be occupied, providing them with better cover. Zhao Qing proposed heading directly to the military-provided address during the day, speculating that the target might be present, and if spotted, they could launch a coordinated attack. Upon hearing Zhao Qing's suggestion, Ping recognized his calm demeanor and ability to assess situations, qualities contrasting with Song Ting's impulsive nature. Agreeing with Zhao Qing's proposal, Ping and the team embarked on their daytime search. Positioned at the shipyard, they concealed themselves while scrutinizing a building in front of them. Ping strategically directed Zhou Yue Hong, Wu Kei Peng, and Zhang Hao to stay put and keep watch, assigning Song Ting the task of approaching and knocking on the door of the targeted building. Song Ting, taken aback and visibly nervous, hesitated. In response, Ping reassured him, highlighting his formidable strength compared to others and the possibility of putting up a fight. Encouraged, Song Ting, though still uncertain, agreed to undertake the task. However, a team member noticed the absence of instructor Zhou Shi and questioned Ping about whether they should proceed with the mission without their instructor. With a confident and determined expression, Ping asserted that they should proceed with the plan, displaying assurance in his decision. As the plan unfolded, Song Ting, acting as an indignant neighbor, knocked on the door while Ping and Mei concealed themselves on the sides. Song Ting, faking annoyance about trash, demanded that the occupants come out. Despite Song Ting's loud banging and shouting, there was no response from inside. Song Ting escalated his efforts, banging harder and raising his voice. Suddenly, a deep voice emanated from within, asserting that they had not discarded any trash outside. Song Ting insisted that the trash was still outside, urging the occupant to come out and address the issue. However, while he spoke, Ping detected a suspicious sound. Acting quickly, Ping grabbed Song Ting's hand, pulling him to the side, and loudly instructing him to dodge. In an instant, a powerful blast of energy shattered the door, revealing Shi Feng as he emerged. Swiftly moving out, Shi Feng began to run ahead of the group. Recognizing the urgency, Ping commanded everyone to pursue him. With weapons drawn, Ping's group chased after Shi Feng. Despite Song Ting and Ping positioning themselves to intercept Shi Feng, he skillfully evaded both attempts. Observing Shi Feng's evasive maneuvers, Ping deduced that Shi Feng was unwilling to engage them directly in combat. As Shi Feng approached Mei, who stood ready with her metal rod, he abruptly stopped and glanced back at the pursuing group. Recognizing them as Martial University students, Shi Feng noted the absence of military or investigation department forces, leading him to conclude that they might be underestimating him. Taking stock of the numerical advantage of the student group, Shi Feng reasoned that their strength might not be formidable. As these thoughts occupied his mind, Mei swung her rod, but Shi Feng adeptly dodged the attack. Realizing that even in this situation, he shouldn't waste time, as backup might be on the way, Mei prepared for another strike. However, instead of retaliating, Shi Feng began channeling his energy. Observing Shi Feng's actions, Ping discerned a threat and urgently shouted at Mei to dodge. Responding to Ping's advice, Mei swiftly evaded Shi Feng's channeled attack by moving to the side. Seizing the opportunity, Shi Feng resumed his escape, prompting Ping's group to resume their pursuit. During the chase, Song Ting expressed dissatisfaction, questioning why Ping instructed Mei to dodge instead of capturing Shi Feng, which would have concluded the mission. Ping explained the gravity of the situation, emphasizing that the target was exceptionally powerful, and if Mei hadn't evaded, she could have faced severe consequences. Song Ting, perplexed, inquired about Ping's statement. With a serious expression, Ping disclosed that the fugitive they were pursuing held the rank of 2. Adding further details, he revealed that Shi Feng's bones had undergone complete reforge in his hands, conveying the formidable strength of their target. Upon hearing the revelation, the other group members expressed disbelief, recalling that Shi Feng had been listed as a rank 1 warrior on the information page. Tang Song, who was in pursuit, shouted that despite being at rank 2, he was still in the beginner stage, reassuring the group that they could easily defeat him. Meanwhile, Shi Feng, running ahead, overheard their conversation and was surprised that they were unaware of his level before joining the mission. Ping, feeling concerned, noted that the mission information clearly stated Shi Feng was at the pinnacle of rank 1, leaving him puzzled about the sudden upgrade to rank 2. Ping speculated that an error had occurred in the mission system. Meanwhile, as Shi Feng sprinted, he spotted the boat he had strategically placed earlier and felt a surge of joy at its presence. However, as he attempted to leap onto the boat, an unseen force halted him, and he sensed a formidable presence enveloping him. Confused, Shi Feng pondered the unknown rank of the force restraining him, initially considering ranks 4 or 5 before being startled to realize it was a formidable rank 6. To his surprise, Zhou Shi emerged with a cold and imposing aura, revealing himself as the source of the powerful presence. Shi Feng, recognizing that he had become a training subject for Zhou Shi's students, acknowledged the impending threat to his life. In a bold moment of realization, he contemplated the idea of taking the students down with him. As Ping pursued Shi Feng, he also sensed the formidable presence surrounding them, but recognized it as Instructor Zhou's strategy, compelling Shi Feng to engage in an attack. Ping reflected on the typically cold-blooded nature of Magic University teachers, who, having faced numerous life-and-death scenarios, prioritized their own survival while remaining indifferent to the demise of others. He understood that in the eyes of an instructor, sacrificing weaker team members for the greater good was considered a commendable act. Ping concluded that this was precisely why Instructor Zhou compelled Shi Feng to confront them, rather than attempting to escape. Zhou Shi's plan proved effective as Shi Feng prepared to confront the group. Meanwhile, the rest of the team sprinted towards Shi Feng, harboring concerns about their ability to overcome a rank 2 opponent. Expressing concern, one girl in the group worried about the potential loss of prizes and the risk of facing mortal danger. In response, Ping reassured the group that their only option was to engage in the fight, and emphasized the importance of avoiding unnecessary actions for securing victories. As they approached Shi Feng, Ping directed Songting, Mei, and himself to take the lead in the confrontation, while the others were instructed to remain in the background. Agreement ensued among the team members. From Shi Feng's perspective, standing on the opposing side, he observed only 3 students advancing, leading him to deduce that they must be the strongest within the group. Recognizing Ping as their leader, Shi Feng sensed the challenge ahead, acknowledging that Ping appeared formidable. Assessing the situation, Shi Feng singled out Mei as his initial target and initiated a charge toward her. Witnessing Shi Feng's swift movements, both Ping and Songting felt a mix of worry and surprise. However, Mei defiantly shouted not to underestimate her and charged at Shi Feng, gripping her rod tightly to launch an attack. In an attempt to counter, Shi Feng seized her rod, but Ping and Songting seized the opportunity to leap from behind and attack him simultaneously. Reacting swiftly, Shi Feng channeled energy through the rod, delivering a shock to Mei and causing her to release her grip. Seizing the moment, Shi Feng used the rod as a defense against Songting's attack, and skillfully jumped to block Ping's assault. Ping, witnessing Shi Feng's agility, felt a combination of worry and surprise. Onlookers were shocked and concerned as Mei's weapon was snatched away, and they sensed the difficulty the trio faced against Shi Feng. Despite the urge to join the fray, Zhao Qing suggested waiting for the leader's guidance before taking any action. Shi Feng continued to dominate in combat, proving to be a formidable opponent for the 3 students. Ping attempted a sneak attack from behind, but Shi Feng displayed rapid reflexes, countering with a powerful kick that wounded Shi Feng's leg. Ping, astonished by the strength of Shi Feng's counter, recognized his opponent's formidable power. In the midst of this, the passionate Songting launched an attack from behind, prompting Shi Feng to block it skillfully using Mei's weapon. Seizing the moment, Shi Feng retaliated, disarming Songting and inflicting pain on his hand with a forceful counter. A subsequent attack targeted Songting's shoulder, resulting in a cracked arm bone. Meanwhile, Songting's sword soared through the air. Ping, quick on his feet, caught the sword and swiftly swung it, landing a hit on Shi Feng's hand and severing it in half. The sight of his own hand on the ground left Shi Feng in agonizing pain. Seizing what seemed like the perfect moment, Ping aimed to deliver the decisive blow to Shi Feng. To his astonishment, Shi Feng, with a broken hand, managed to catch the sword mid-air, sporting a maniacal smile. Recognizing the unexpected turn of events, Ping swiftly commanded the other team members to unite and launch a concerted attack on Shi Feng. Together, they charged at Shi Feng, delivering powerful blows that brought him to the ground. As they continued to beat Shi Feng, Ping couldn't help but notice that the gap between rank 1 and rank 2 wasn't as significant, especially considering Shi Feng's visibly battered state. Seeing Shi Feng on the ground, Ping believed they had emerged victorious in the confrontation. Yet in response to their apparent victory, Shi Feng erupted into laughter. admitting that he had underestimated the students and never anticipated meeting his demise at their hands. Abruptly, he seized Songting by the shirt, lunging towards him with a desperate intent to take one of them down with him. In a chilling turn of events, Xu Feng attempted to bite off Songting's face, leaving Songting in a state of profound fear. Panicking, Songting screamed for assistance from Ping, and in the midst of the chaos, blood spattered all around, leaving everyone in utter shock at the unexpected turn of events. Amidst the splattering blood, Songting's tear-streaked face registered disbelief and shock as he stared at Xu Feng. Despite the profuse bleeding from his head, Xu Feng clung desperately to Songting's arm before collapsing to the ground. It became apparent that Ping was the one responsible for the forceful punch to Xu Feng's head, revealing his exposed brain due to the sheer impact of Ping's blow. As Xu Feng fell, Ping, having delivered the decisive blow, took a seat on the ground, signaling the end of the intense confrontation. With a mix of relief and emotion, the other team members, realizing they had emerged victorious, began shedding tears of joy, grateful to have come through the ordeal alive. As Zhao Qing approached and inquired about everyone's well-being, Mei, overwhelmed with guilt, began to cry and apologize, blaming herself for the situation. Conveying reassurance, Ping comforted Mei, emphasizing that the incident was not her fault, and there was no need for apologies. He pointed out that Xu Feng, as a rank 2 warrior, could easily disarm anyone, and the loss of Mei's weapon was not the root cause of the injuries. In a show of solidarity, other group members echoed Ping's sentiments, asserting that they, too, would have struggled against Xu Feng, and might have faced dire consequences. These words of encouragement intensified Mei's emotions. With the group leaning towards supporting Ping, they acknowledged his strategic planning and commended his handling of the challenging situation. It dawned on Ping that they needed to address the issue with instructor Zhou Shi regarding the undisclosed rank 2 status of their target. As Ping mentioned this, instructor Zhou Shi appeared in the distance, wearing his customary cold expression. Approaching the group, Zhou Shi remarked that their performance fell below expectations, considering their numbers, and the skirmish resulted in casualties. He further commented that even though the target wasn't formidable, Ping, Songting, or Mei could have easily emerged victorious. Ping, reacting with a smile, questioned Zhou Shi about why the system incorrectly labeled the target as the pinnacle of rank 1, when he was, in reality, a rank 2. This query prompted other team members to join in, expressing doubts about the legitimacy and accuracy of the system. In response, Zhou Shi acknowledged that discrepancies in the system, or Xu Feng's breakthrough, could explain the misinformation. He suggested that Ping's group should have anticipated this from the 15-credit reward. Undeterred, Ping pressed further, questioning if Zhou Shi was the imposing presence that compelled Xu Feng to fight when attempting to flee. Zhou Shi, taken aback by Ping's ability to sense his presence, reluctantly confirmed his involvement. Ping, now questioning Zhou Shi's commitment as an instructor, challenged him on why he seemed to create more problems than offer assistance. Zhou Shi, maintaining his cold demeanor, asked what Ping wanted. With a confident smile, Ping put forth a demand for the mission reward and school reward to be doubled, totaling 60 credits. Songting, reacting with disbelief, questioned the feasibility of such a costly demand, expressing doubts about the school's agreement. Zhou Shi, considering Ping's demand excessive, reflected on the fact that even rank 3 missions didn't carry such high rewards. In response, Ping nonchalantly shrugged, acknowledging Zhou Shi's formidable rank of 6 and expressing reluctance to confront him directly. However, Ping argued that the martial school's actions weren't fair, emphasizing how Zhou Shi's intervention almost led to their demise. In a bold move, Ping questioned whether these actions violated the rules. Using a form of blackmail, Ping threatened to report the incident to the dean if Zhou Shi didn't agree to their reward demand. Standing united, the other group members supported Ping's stance, aligning themselves with the demand for a higher reward. Surprised by Ping's assertiveness, Zhou Shi acknowledged Ping's ability to take charge as a team leader. Eventually, Zhou Shi conceded, agreeing to grant them the requested 60 credits, but he emphasized that this was a one-time concession. The news sparked celebration among the team members, who expressed their gratitude to both Ping and instructor Zhou Shi. Following the agreement, Zhou Shi approached Ping, offering a warning. He cautioned Ping not to dwell too much on injuries or casualties during future battles, emphasizing that those who fixate on such concerns were often the ones who perished quickly. Upon hearing Zhou Shi's warning, Ping came to the realization that Zhou Shi was correct. Ping acknowledged that he had been overly cautious this time, recognizing that with his and Songting's abilities, Xu Feng wouldn't have stood a chance. Ping understood that their mindset of retreating upon learning about the target's rank 2 status had been detrimental. Grateful for the guidance, Ping expressed his thanks to Zhou Shi. In the main hall practice class, all students wielded stick sparring weapons, engaged in training. Ping, engrossed in checking his status, noted that his wealth had reached nearly 11 million. This realization led him to understand that participating in missions accelerated his wealth growth much more effectively than selling pills alone. Amidst their training, Zhou Lilei and his team returned from their mission, visibly battered and fatigued. Rumors circulated among the students that Lei's team had suffered 1 casualty and 3 injuries. Ping overheard discussions, with students attributing the misfortune to Lei's overconfidence in selecting a Rank 2 mission. Zhou Li's anxious demeanor fueled the speculation, and he shakingly conveyed that the instructors seldom intervened in missions, only stepping in when a team was on the verge of disaster. Tragically, their team member, Lu Kunqian, had lost his life, and Zhou Lil warned that the next casualty could be anyone, possibly even themselves. Suddenly, one of Zhou Lei's furious teammates charged at him, grabbing him by the shirt and angrily berating him for choosing a Rank 2 mission, which resulted in the death of their teammate. Zhou Lei remained silent, his face reflecting clear regret. Another member of Zhou Lei's team pointed out that Ping's team had accidentally encountered a Rank 2 target, but had managed to avoid any casualties. Realizing the validity of Ping's decisions, Mei grasped the significance. Approaching Ping, one of his teammates, accompanied by 2 others, proposed a 2-day break from missions for practice. However, Ping denied the request, emphasizing the importance of seizing opportunities for rewards to prepare for future Rank 2 missions. He stressed that slackening off even slightly would widen the gap, and stopping now would equate to giving up on their goals. Turning to his teammates, Ping inquired whether any of them wished to quit. Songting promptly responded that they had no intention of quitting and were determined to recover quickly from their minor injuries by consuming a few pills. Ping, recognizing Songting's good nature despite his arrogance, felt a sense of satisfaction. The other team members echoed similar sentiments, expressing their determination to persevere through missions despite injuries or fatigue. Ping, elated by the passion and resolve of his teammates, suggested a strategic approach. He proposed that they take some time to rest and engage in easier Rank 1 missions to accumulate rewards. Once everyone was in optimal condition and well-equipped, they could then tackle a Rank 2 mission. Subsequently, they engaged in numerous low-rank missions, ranging from finding and returning a lost child to aiding the cat face and caring for its cats, and capturing a Rank 1 criminal. Throughout these missions, Ping primarily utilized a sword, and came to realize its potency compared to his previous weapon, the shoes. Observing Ping's fighting style, Songting noticed a growing sense of ruthlessness in his approach. Ping, upon hearing Songting's observation, reflected on the fact that he had taken the lives of 6 individuals, including 2 students in prior confrontations, and 4 criminals during these missions. The transformation into a more merciless person surprised Ping, who looked at his blood-stained hands, acknowledging that it was the only way to enhance his experience and refine his skills. At the practice building, students gathered around the ranking board, and Team Lei held the top spot with 100 points, while Ping's team secured second place with 94 points. Observing the standings, Songting felt disheartened, expressing concern that even the double reward from Shi Feng's mission only elevated them to the second position. He suggested to Ping that they should consider taking on Rank 2 missions now that everyone had shown improvement. Ping contemplated Songting's suggestion, recognizing that his recent reliance on the system had significantly increased his strength. Approaching the middle stage of Rank 2, he pondered the possibility of facing another Rank 2 opponent alone, considering his enhanced capabilities. Agreeing with Songting's suggestion, Ping decided that they would proceed with splitting into 3 groups. Mei, Songting, and Ping would undertake Rank 2 missions, while the remaining 3, excluding the 2 injured girls, would focus on Rank 1 missions. The injured girls would stay behind to collect and search for information, and once completed, they would receive 10% of the reward. The proposal brought joy to everyone. Curious about the instructor's role in this arrangement, Mei inquired about their plans. Songting responded, expressing their inability to rely on the instructor for help. Instead, they decided to let the instructor do as he pleased while they pursued their own mission objectives. In Shijiang City's construction site, Ping, Mei, and Songting gathered for a Rank 2 mission offering a 15-credit reward. Their objective was to eliminate a cultist apprentice named Tao Jin, a 4-year-old Rank 2. Standing before a construction building, the trio suddenly heard approaching footsteps. The source of the sound revealed itself to be a group of students from Dongwu Martial University. Wang Jin, their leader, stepped forward, greeted Ping, and introduced himself. Wang Jin revealed that their group was also there for a mission, representing Shijiang City's local martial university. Ping found this information a bit surprising. Wang Jin clarified that due to their universities being too small to recruit new students individually, the 3 colleges collaborated on missions. Ping, examining their statuses, noted that all of them had 250 blood and qi, indicating a level similar to Song Ting's. However, he couldn't shake the concern that having two different teams on the same mission might be another mistake by the system. As they conversed, two cars pulled up beside them, and a lady emerged, inquiring about the group representing the Magic University. Ping acknowledged that they were from the Magic University and identified himself as the group leader. The lady, sounding concerned, questioned why Ping's team had only 3 members on a Rank 2 mission. Wang Jin, taken aback, expressed shock that Ping's group had accepted a Rank 2 mission. The other members of Wang Jin's group were also perplexed, wondering why Ping, with only 3 members, chose a Rank 2 mission when their target was a pinnacle Rank 1, and both groups were at the same location. Interrupting the confusion, the lady assured them that she would explain. She clarified that Ping's group was tasked with eliminating a Rank 2 target named Yao Jin, who had recently moved to Shijiang. On the other hand, Wang Jin's group was assigned to target Chang, a Rank 1. However, due to the cult's influence, both targets coincidentally ended up in the same building in front of them. The lady conveyed the perilous nature of the mission, disclosing the presence of 5 other martial artists and 10 cult members within the building. She assured everyone that the department had taken precautions around the perimeter. Wang Jin's team members became visibly worried upon hearing this news. However, Ping remained composed and suggested maintaining focus and avoiding interruptions for a successful outcome. Song Ting proposed collaboration with Wang Huai's team, but Wang Huai's team, observing Ping's calm reaction, was amazed at their apparent lack of nervousness. Seeking a private conversation with Wang Huai, the lady advised him to reconsider the mission. She explained the formidable opponents within the building, including at least 1 Rank 2 and a pinnacle Rank 1 martial artist, not to mention other cult members. She disclosed that the Magic University's mission was in fact orchestrated by the military, urging Wang to reconsider and withdraw from the mission. The lady clarified to Wang that initially, she believed they were collaborating with Ping's team, but was surprised to discover they were only a group of 3. Acknowledging Wang's team members as Dongwu's prodigies, she emphasized that the department couldn't permit them to undertake a risky mission like the current one. She proposed 2 options. Either they could give up on the mission entirely, or they could enter the building after Ping's team dealt with the Rank 2 martial artist. Intrigued, Wang inquired whether Ping's group comprised Rank 1 martial artists. The lady confirmed, based on the information she had, that Ping was indeed a Rank 1 martial artist. Upon learning that Ping's group consisted of Rank 1 martial artists, Wang expressed gratitude to the lady. He conveyed his desire to witness firsthand what the new students from the Magic University were capable of. The lady assented to Wang's decision, but emphasized the importance of their safety, urging them to retreat if the situation took a turn for the worse. Wang's team members, feeling a mix of worry and fear, questioned the wisdom of proceeding, concerned that they might become a hindrance to the students from the Magic University this time. However, upon glancing beside them, Wang's group realized that Ping's team was nowhere to be seen, having already ventured inside the building. Wang's team proceeded towards the building and noticed Mei guarding the door. Confusion arose as they questioned why Ping had left her on guard. While they discussed, Mei suddenly sprinted inside. After a few moments, Chang, Wang's team's target, emerged from the building, appearing tired and beaten. He yelled, accusing Ping's team of not keeping their word. Upon witnessing Wang's team, Chang became infuriated and charged towards one of their members, unleashing brutal and relentless blows. Despite the efforts of the other team members to intervene, Chang's eyes were filled with rage as he continued his assault. In a desperate move, Wang seized Chang in a chokehold, breaking his neck in the process. The abrupt and violent act left Chang lifeless, and Wang's team sat there in shock, bewildered by the unexpected turn of events, and unsure why Chiang accused them of not keeping their word. Wang pondered the unexpected and rapid demise of Chiang in his hands, bewildered by the fact that a Rank 1 pinnacle realm had succumbed so swiftly. Lacking knowledge of the events inside that led Chiang to behave violently, Wang approached the door with curiosity. Peering inside through a gap, he was shocked to witness a grim scene. Numerous lifeless bodies scattered around, bearing the signs of brutal beatings. As his teammates tended to the injured member, they suggested a hasty departure before the Rank 2 opponent emerged. Wang remained in a state of shock, observing a figure standing amidst the brutally beaten corpses in the building. He deduced that this person was likely the Rank 2 they had been warned about. Other students who arrived later were equally astonished at the violent outcome, realizing that Ping's group had swiftly and efficiently dealt with the situation. Meanwhile, in a car on a distant highway, Ping's team was on their way back to school. Ping suggested initiating a discussion to summarize their mission. However, Songting and Mei remained silent, their thoughts perhaps dwelling on the intense events they had just experienced. Ping contemplated the need for a heavier weapon, considering options like an axe or a hammer, deeming the sword too light. As Songting questioned how Ping deemed the sword light, Mei sat in the back seat, straddled, reflecting on the events in the building. Assigned to watch for the arrival of Dongwu's students, she witnessed Ping's careful and strategic approach to the intense battle. Mei observed the brutal and intense fight between Ping and Tao Jin, recognizing it as a battle of endurance, testing whose blood and qi would endure until the end. Ping executed around 50 slashing moves in mere seconds, each containing a combination of blood and qi. Surprisingly, even the rank 2 target succumbed to Ping after a dozen of these potent slashes. Intrigued, Mei inquired if Ping's blood and qi were limitless. Ping hesitated before explaining that, with the other cult members taken care of, he could concentrate more on the fight. Yet, in his mind, Ping acknowledged the truth. He possessed unlimited blood and qi, thanks to the system's ability to replenish them instantly. Song Ting then began boasting about his desire to test his skills against the second-ranked target, and also challenged Chang from Dongwu University. However, his strength compared to Lin Feng was significantly inferior. When they witnessed their strongest member's demise, they all succumbed to despair. Ping, seizing the opportunity, demanded all their valuables, and they reluctantly agreed. Consequently, Ping's team walked away with a substantial and lucrative haul. As Song Ting eagerly sifted through the loot, he expressed his excitement, marveling at the unexpected richness of the cult members' possessions. Shu, sporting a broad smile, remarked that Ping truly cared about the well-being of Dongwu's students. At the abandoned building, Wang's team members were genuinely pleased and commended Ping's team for showing concern and leaving their assigned target for them to handle. The positive outcome brought happiness to everyone, but Wang stood there deep in thought, pondering something. He voiced his opinion, stating that Ping was too weak to be worth a fight. Meanwhile, Ping believed he had assisted Wang's team. Song Ting, acknowledging Dongwu's captain's impressive move, suggested that if that was the extent of their knowledge, there shouldn't be any concerns about the upcoming national exchange sparring competition. Mei concurred with Song Ting, expressing confidence that he would emerge victorious in a strength comparison. Suddenly, a notification appeared on Ping's phone, and upon checking, he discovered the updated rankings, revealing Ping's team at the top with an impressive 132 points. Lei's team followed closely in second place with 128 points, leaving everyone astonished. In response to the unexpected turn of events, Ping swiftly altered their course, declaring they would immediately join the next mission. He emphasized the urgency, stating they couldn't afford to let Lei's team catch up to them. At the practice hall, students gathered as the dean addressed them, revealing the winners of the competition. Ping's team emerged triumphant with a total of 186 points, and as a reward for their victory, they were awarded an additional 100 points, bringing their total to 286 points. The announcement left the entire assembly in awe of Ping's team's remarkable achievement. Upon hearing the announcement, Ping couldn't help but wish they had completed the last mission, envisioning their points surpassing the 200 mark. Mei chuckled at Ping's desire for more points, assuring him that they had already performed admirably. The dean proceeded to reveal the overall rankings, with Lei's team securing second place with 179 points, Chad's team in third with 150 points, and Chen Yun's team landing in the last position with a total of 100 points. Witnessing the blame game within Chen Yun's team for their lower position, Ping observed the situation thoughtfully. Dean intervened, calling for order and announcing that the instructors had recorded everyone's performance. He then disclosed that due to Lei's recklessness leading to a team member's death, a 30% deduction would be made from his reward to compensate the deceased member's family. The news left a somber atmosphere as the consequences of their actions became apparent. Lei acknowledged the deduction with agreement. The dean then singled out Chad and Xiaoman, commending them for completing the mission safely. Ping was also recognized, praised for his decision to split the team and handle different missions simultaneously. Advisor Tang Fang addressed Chen Yun's team, pointing out their low points and the team's discontent, suggesting that Chen Yun should reflect on her actions. The dean addressed the entire group, acknowledging the challenges they faced. Some suffered injuries, some filled their pockets, and unfortunately, some lost their lives. He emphasized collective growth through real-life battle training. Additionally, he revealed that over the past month, instructors had been discreetly testing the students to prepare them for the sparring competition scheduled for the following month. This news brought a sense of significance to the challenging experiences they had undergone. As Tang Fang opened the file, he perused through the cards of students, including Ping and Zhou. Teacher Tang Fang then proceeded to announce the members selected for the sparring competition: Ping, Lei, Chad, Xiaoman, Song Ting, Mei, Shu Qi, Li Jiaoshu, and Jin Lei. Closing the book, he left the students in shock, realizing there was supposed to be one more member for the competition, yet Tang Fang only revealed 9. Ignoring the murmurs among the students, Tang Fang approached Chun Yun and candidly expressed that martial arts university might not be the right fit for her. Instead, he suggested she consider joining a university more aligned with literature. The directness of Tang Feng's words left an impact on Chun Yun and the surrounding students. Tang Feng continued, emphasizing that while Chun Yun possessed decent skills, she wasn't adequately prepared to evolve into a true martial artist. He pointed out that a martial artist should embrace combat rather than avoid it, citing instances in missions where Chen Yun hesitated to engage in fights, causing hardship for her teammates. As whispers circulated among her teammates, it became apparent that Chun Yun's reluctance to fight during missions had negative consequences for those working alongside her. Rumors began to circulate among the students, speculating about Chun Yun's family background, suggesting that her grandfather might be influential. The irony was not lost on them as she seemed unable to protect her teammates in combat situations. Despite these discussions, Ping acknowledged Chun Yun's potential to rank among the top 5 in the class, but noted her evident fear of confrontation. After listening to Tang Fang, Chun Yun eventually gathered the courage to respond, requesting another chance to prove herself and expressing her desire to join the sparring team. To everyone's surprise, Tang Fang, without uttering another word, granted her request and included her as the final member of the team. With that, he dismissed the assembly. Ping, upon reflecting on Tang Fang's decision, realized that beneath the strict exterior, Tang Fang was genuinely helping Chun Yun. At the exchange center, Ping checked his status and noted a significant increase in credit points, reaching 161, and his wealth had risen to around 12.08 million. Ping then encountered Teacher Li at the exchange counter, who greeted him and inquired about the sword he had given Ping during their previous interaction. Ping responded, expressing that the previous sword was fine, but due to his increased blood qi, he now desired a heavier, more violent, yet easy-to-carry sword. Upon hearing this, Teacher Li stood up and invited Ping to follow him into the armory. Inside the armory, Ping saw an array of different weapons scattered on shelves. Teacher Li presented a Phoenix Break glaive, weighing a total of 32 kilograms, and inquired if Ping would be interested in such a weapon. He explained that the glaive was not only long, but could also be separated for convenient storage and easy carrying in a bag. Intrigued by its features, Ping contemplated that the Phoenix Break glaive seemed to match his requirements perfectly. However, Ping was taken aback when Teacher Li revealed the price, stating that he would sell it for a substantial amount of 320 credits. The revelation left Ping shocked at the cost of the weapon. Upon hearing the price, Ping couldn't contain his surprise and involuntarily spat out what was in his mouth. Declaring it too expensive, he began to negotiate with Teacher Li. Despite Teacher Li's initial reluctance to go below 30 credits, Ping persisted, expressing his desire to acquire the glaive for 150 credits. After some back and forth, they eventually reached a compromise, and Teacher Li handed over the glaive to Ping. As Ping proceeded on his way, Teacher Li, aware of the financial challenges faced by Marshall University students, understood Ping's effort to save credits. However, when Teacher Li later observed Ping spending 150 credits on buying pills, he was left astonished. Ping, it seemed, wasn't short on credits, but had bargained as if he was financially strained, leaving Teacher Li shocked. In the practice hall, Ping stood confidently, wielding his long glaive. Chad approached, expressing amazement at Ping's ability to acquire a new weapon so quickly. Ping brushed off Chad's astonishment and inquired if the day for selecting new captains had arrived, indicating his readiness to prepare. Xiaomon joined the conversation, advising Ping not to assume he was the only one showing improvement. Suddenly, Chad, fueled by ambition, charged towards Ping, declaring his intention to become the next class president. Ping, relying on his swift reflexes, countered with a well-timed kick to Chad's face, sending him tumbling to the ground. Unfazed, Ping turned to Xiaomon, inquiring whether she intended to participate in the fight. Xiaomon, caught off guard, hesitated in her response. Xiaomon responded, stating that she hadn't expressed any desire to become the class president. Later, at the teacher's dorm, Ping and Mei found themselves in Teacher Woody's room. The teacher conveyed her concern about the limited time remaining until the new student exchange sparring competition, and emphasized that both of them were still relatively weak. Turning her attention to Mei, Teacher Woody suggested that she return and consume a rank 2 blood qi pill to accelerate bone reformation. The goal was for Mei to reach the peak of rank 1 before the upcoming competition. Hearing this, Mei couldn't help but feel worried about the demanding task laid out before her. Meanwhile, Ping engaged in calculations, contemplating the cost of acquiring the necessary pills. Mei responded, expressing her understanding and determination to reforge her limb bones before the competition, aiming for the peak of rank 1. Teacher Woody acknowledged Mei's commitment, instructing her to return, prepare to consume the pill, and come to her room every night for cultivation. Mei took her leave with this guidance. Ping, curious about his own course of action, inquired about what he should do. In response, Teacher Woody asked Ping if he was interested in learning a higher grade technique. Ping explained that he had already reached the peak of rank 1, with his lower limb bones successfully reforged, and his other skills at a commendable level. Undeterred, Teacher Woody proceeded to impart some techniques to Ping, including a mid-grade footwork technique and a mid-grade glaive technique. Ping absorbed the teachings, adding new skills to his repertoire. She then gestured towards the boxes beside her, mentioning that they contained numerous technique books. Ping was advised to peruse them and select one that suited him. Teacher Woody further explained that the details and steps of mid-grade techniques were intricate, making it beneficial for Ping to refer to the books for guidance. With that, Teacher Woody left, heading upstairs for rest. Ping, intrigued, picked up a book, and just from its title, he felt a surge of amazement. The title revealed it to be the Violent Blood Raging Blade, created by Nanjiang City's boss, Zhang, when he was at rank 6. The technique, described as continually generating attacks with blood qi, sparked Ping's interest. Within the collection were a total of 7 blade techniques, each progressively stronger than the previous. The pinnacle of this set was a technique known as the Violent Blood Raging Blade. It had the capability to execute 7 exceptionally powerful combo slashes, with each slash surpassing the strength of its predecessor. What made this technique particularly lethal was its ability to consume all the blood qi on an opponent during the final slash, leading to certain death. As Ping delved into the details, he found the concept fascinating. The technique seemed exceptionally cool to him, and he believed that mastering it would be relatively easy, as long as one could control their blood qi. With an evil smile on his face, Ping entertained the idea that, given his infinite supply of blood qi, he could continue slashing for eternity. The allure of this formidable technique intrigued him. As Ping delved into the details of the technique, he became increasingly confident that when the competition arrived, no one would be able to stand as his equal. Eager to put his new skills to the test, he envisioned using both the Violent Blood Raging Blade and his new glaive in the upcoming challenges. Following his excitement, Ping turned his attention to the footwork technique. Named Cloud Step, this technique harnessed the energy of blood qi to significantly enhance one's movement speed. Reading about the method of transferring this energy to his feet, Ping realized its potential in aiding his fighting style. He considered the advantage of using Cloud Step to escape if he found himself unable to defeat opponents directly. Despite his enthusiasm, Ping faced a challenge. He was unsure about how to practice and master this intriguing footwork technique. The confusion lingered as he contemplated the best approach to unlock the full potential of Cloud Step. Don't forget to like and comment for the next part. Join our Discord for the name of the book and subscribe for more videos from us.